The most important earnings play.
It's the biggest earnings name.
It reversed itself. Coinbase.
Crazy reversal.
Yeah, we have that on the market recap show. Yeah, look, man, we are really, honestly, this Intel now up nearly 25% in the last 5 trading days. Absolutely huge. And this is just getting, we almost sold. We bought down here, it came to 22. I was like, okay, but now you're into that 25 area. So today, we mentioned this yesterday, may sell some of our shares today. Let's see what happens as you're at the 50 period moving average. It was really nice to see it up today, another 2 and a bit percent. So Intel right now, man, getting close. Getting real close. We stuck our neck out a little bit down here, put some in the PA, but it was only meant to be a swing trade, and now we're getting it up to here. So this is getting close. I didn't expect it to move this quickly. So Intel right now for a little bit of a win. DraftKings, Donkey Kong, one of my favorite tickers, up to that $50 mark in the pre and the post market yesterday off earnings, and now coming back in. So we do have a couple names that are starting to fade out just a little bit here today. We talked about Coinbase was, what, 310 or so when we left you guys yesterday, and then all the way back down now into 290 again. So look, some great reports came through. It's amazing that Roku can have 1.2 billion in sales but still lose money. Like, what's up with the expenses here? That's the one thing that I don't know. The company reported a loss of 24 cents per share on sales of 1.2 billion.
Boom.
So expenses are what, $2 billion in the quarter? Like, what are we even talking about? But anyways, well done, man, for Roku. Nice move to the upside. It looks like it's going to continue to work. And I mean, again, great base and a break. So it's kind of like we had Google basing there, then Google went the other way. This name pops forward. Great trade for Roku. Congratulations to anybody that has that one. I'm just trying to look at the watch list to see what's going on. Palantir's on the trade rate thing today. So is Intel. Oh,
keep in mind, a lot of companies.
GameStop.
Yeah, GameStop saying they were going to get into, talking about potentially getting into crypto. They didn't actually say they're going to buy, it's just that they might, up 8%. And there's a host of names, and there was someone in the chat was just asking just now, that are moving because of NVIDIA's 13F filing. So NVIDIA, there's a stock called WeRide that they had an investment in, that's up like 100%. SOUN, they divested their position, so they're out of that. That's why SOUN's to the downside. And there's a few other names. You can find them all in the free watch list, everybody. So scan the QR code, sign up for the watch list.
Oh, Randy's in the building today.
Randy in the house. Didn't know if we
showed his little snow situation yesterday on the show there. So you made it in today.
Legit. And we're getting more. Yay.
Hopefully you'll learn your lesson, man. You can't live so up north, man. I mean, it's taking you spend 3 hours a day driving, so you're losing life right there. And then you are, right? I mean, 3 hours commute, right? It's yeah. And then you have all the, you know what, I can see getting buffed up there with the snow. But you had snow blower or snow both?
You gotta have, for you'd need it.
That's
you gotta have that.
You get the kids helping you, or no? They're just chilling out in bed yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. There was no help.
There was no help.
Even Clyde wasn't.
But let me guess, you went and got them Starbucks at some point?
No.
Oh man, these kids are too much, man.
Yeah, there's another, I don't know, few inches on the way this weekend.
Yeah, I heard that on Saturday. I was supposed to get something there today.
Second winter.
We're getting punked.
For all the viewers that live in Florida, please send us some sunshine. We'll take it all.
It's not too sunny out there.
I'm taking some in March.
Yeah.
But please don't send Florida. We'll stay where we are.
Yeah. I can't wait
to go to Florida.
I'd go to Florida.
I can't wait.
Living there, I think, is a different story. All right. Yeah, that's it, man. All right. Well, that's about it for us here. Randy, anything on your mind today?
Coffee and lots of it.
Okay. Well, then let's make it a double.
Down with that.
On that one. So thank you there. Yeah, been 80 degrees all week. We had Luis Barbado yesterday talking about how sunny it was you actually said it was pretty cold there in Barcelona the last couple of days.
Relative, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
What's cold for him?
Yeah, but it was sunny. So I mean, that's nice enough.
Yesterday was actually. It was really sunny, and then when it got overcast, it was a bit intense.
When you have the snow, it just
oh my goodness,
off the snow.
Like it's like blinding. Like we went to this massive field where we do tobogganing. It was wild. Of course, my daughter decided she wanted to, instead of the hill that's right off the street, she's like, I want to go to the far hill. It's like 1.5 feet of snow, sweetheart, and it's like 400 meters. Like Daddy's ankle hurts. It was a heck of a lot of fun. SoundHound's actually really just lost a bit again. They're dumping this thing.
I'm not.
Yikes!
I'm not trying to talk any crap about Florida. I mean, we like Florida. We're very sensitive these days about the 51st state comments. I mean, if we can become the 51st state and it would change our weather.
That's not. We don't get that.
Yeah, you know.
We don't get any of that.
But the fact that we'd be able to, I mean, Trump is like, I spoke to Governor Trudeau and all. He's still going on all. No. Chilean nightmare. What are you going to start playing the Chilean national anthem over here?
Why not? I've never heard it before.
I would love to play it.
Find that, Fabian.
Yeah.
Find the Chilean national anthem. You can play that.
I would absolutely love the Chilean national anthem. Here's my Italian brother Joe stepping in here right now. What's going on, my guy? All right. Yeah, we would save in tax, I guess. And USA Hockey, I mean, they destroyed Finland last night. That game comes tomorrow night. I have about 6 hockey events this weekend at least, 2 baseballs, and snowboarding.
There's going to be a lot of snow. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
We're going to Montreal, and we're taking the train to Montreal. And on Sunday, which is our full day there, they're getting more snow in Montreal than we got yesterday. So we're basically going to a snowstorm for a weekend away because it's a long weekend. Monday is
sounds like a jam.
Down south, it's President's Day, and here it's Family Day.
Family Day.
They basically, so here in Canada, because the U.S. has a holiday, they just made one up, and they're like, well, the U.S. is closed, so let's just have one. And they just called it Family Day when you guys have President's Day. They couldn't have just, I don't know, whatever. You could have done something else, but whatever, Family Day, it works. I'll take it.
Of course it works, yeah.
I'll take it, but it's kind of a weird title.
The best day, Family Day. All right, these Chinese ADRs are going absolutely insane. There's a train from Toronto to Montreal. Yeah, it's the best way to travel there. Oh, man, these guys. Yeah, you know, it's unbelievable. Here in Canada, we have rail. You know, rail is pretty popular here. We have trains. We actually just a couple years ago got cars and stuff like that, so it was pretty. And then I just yesterday picked up the color TV. They're fantastic.
Those things are unbelievable.
You have no idea how good things are in color when you're finally able to watch.
Get away from. Well, I mean, I was still on the ham radio, so I don't.
Yeah.
Like I had to step up to just the black and white TV.
My radio is the crank one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you crank the radio for that because the Igloo just got power a couple weeks ago. So what are we supposed to?
I've never actually stayed.
Okay. Yeah. That's why I don't have a Roku. You know, my TV doesn't have like a USB port. Okay, it is AIFF Day, down 17% right here as it gives a little bit back. You missed this yesterday, it went to $17. So $17 yesterday for Firefly, down 17% today. A little ominous action there happening. Happy Valentine's Day to all. And hopefully it's going to be a good trading day. I think we normally have Michael Nauss on Friday, so we'll see if he comes through.
It is true.
Today as well. What's up, Tyler? This is Raptors gear today. I'm going to the Toronto Scepters tonight again. It's their home game. I don't even know who they're playing. All right, let's go back over to the man in the vest.
McFly.
Oh, it's festive.
It's Valentine's Day,
it's
right?
festive.
No, not like I did this on purpose.
I dig the effort.
Good job, Ram.
We're going to bring in Michael Nauss here in a second. He's also going to talk about all things Valentine's Day on a Friday. Wanted to mention this real quick. Moderna, downside here to the tune of 4.3%, just rolled over once again back to 30.50 here. RFKJ getting confirmed yesterday.
Big.
So some vaccine names getting a little bit hit after the close on that yesterday and then also this morning here.
Brendo, it's like they're a one-hit wonder. I mean, we heard about the cancer vaccine. There was a lot of bullish momentum about that, but there is right now, the consumers tapped out with respect to RSV vaccines, COVID vaccines. Sales are dropping significantly. You got sovereign countries basically that had orders that are cutting orders. So it's a tough look. And we'll get through this. I may be on the rundown. I'm not sure if it'll be on the rundown, but they're projecting the majority of the revenue in the second half without explaining why. The majority of the revenue is going to come in the second half. So some interesting stuff coming out of there, but you hope you look to see whether they bottomed or not.
Yeah. I think for the psychedelic sector, it could be more of an incentive, more of a catalyst for those stocks. I was talking to Todd Shapiro yesterday, CEO over at Red Light Holland, which is TRIP here in Toronto. Might get him on today to discuss just what this means for the overall group. maybe around lunchtime or early afternoon. But as I mentioned, Michael Nauss is waiting patiently for us on Friday morning here, looking very festive as well, Mr. Nauss. Happy Friday.
Happy Valentine's Day and happy Friday.
As far as Valentine's Day goes, what does the market think of all the love?
Yeah, well, this first graph I have will actually, I think, paint that. This is from one of my friends over at Ryan Diedrich. It's a little bit hard to read, but don't worry, you don't need to know the nitty-gritty details. Basically, what this guy likes to do and does a great job is just look at what is happening in the market and then projecting the kind of rest of the year over. So when the market is up around 3% going into Valentine's Day, it's a pretty good chance that we're going to have a positive day today and a positive day for the rest of the year. I only see, going back all the way to 1950, I only see 2 down years there.
Really?
So again, probabilities, so, we don't obviously know for sure, but it's a pretty good sign. So I guess if everyone's feeling the love, you could say, on the way to Valentine's Day, then they generally keep that way for the rest of the year.
I mean, I was just sitting here looking at that. That's almost a staggering thought. Just to recap, 3% from the start of the year to today, and then the results going back all the way to 1950s, where there's literally 2, I saw there, as you said, years that ended up negative.
Yeah, and some of these I'm looking, 33%, 18%, 19%. Now, this will conflict with the stat that I talked about the range-bound market. So we'll see, which of these stats end up playing out. So it could be that we are both in a range-bound market and we end up still putting in a fair amount just because we are up so much already going into the year, up around 4%, give or take here. But what I wanted to go through and I wanted to show you guys is that it's a different crowd that's leading us, which is absolutely fantastic. So as we are here on the SPY, as we're bopping our head here against all-time highs, I wanted to go deeper under the hood and kind of show you guys that this rotation that we've been kind of pounding the table on this show for a long time is indeed happening. And for those who are participating in, it is a really fun time. And for those who are just trying to wonder when NVIDIA is going to make a new high, it might be a little bit harder. So again, this is the S&P 500. We have gone nowhere since December 6th, I believe, was the prior high. So just to show you guys that when the market is churning like this under the hood, it means some sectors are generally doing well and some sectors are generally doing poorly. And I think it's most evident by the next chart I have here, which is essentially a heat map. So this is the tile size is the market cap, so you can see all the big guys there. And then the tile color is the actual year-to-date returns. So if you look, a lot of the big guys are actually still down this year. Apple, Microsoft, Google, NVIDIA, Tesla, still down on the year. A lot of these big names, Meta with a whopping 23% so far this year, but a lot of these names are still down on the year. So if the market, which is heavily weighted towards these individual names, because it's a market cap weighted stock, so NVIDIA, Apple, and Microsoft, I think are like over 10% of the entire market. If they're down a lot, then that means there's got to be a lot of other names, more like a disproportionate amount of the smaller names that are actually up on the year and are pushing us towards this new all-time high. So this next section or this next chart I have here is just showing these are the sectors that I watch. There's no, particular rhyme or reason, or every time I hear about a new ETF, I just add it to this list. And this is, again, showing the year-to-date return. So both the box size and the color is the year-to-date return. So, we were just talking about psychedelics. Brendan was before I got on. Massive return in PSIL, which is an actively managed psychedelics ETF. 32% growth on that one. So absolutely insane. Full disclosure, again, I own an uncomfortable amount of MindMed. So that's a big part of the sector. But just showing that not only the vote that happened yesterday and recently with RFK, but this has been kind of something that the market's been preemptive. If we go down the list, JDX is gold miners doing very well. KWeb, China, and then even ARK, shockingly enough, 14% gain on ARK, which again is one of those things that we could do another deeper dive into, but I won't take up all your guys' time because ARK owns a lot of Tesla. So we saw on the last chart that Tesla was down, but now ARK is up. So it means some of the other things that she owned must be doing that. But just showing that it's not your big cap tech. Semiconductors isn't even on the top of this list, where last year semiconductors were the whole market. It was the whole thing that was pushing us up. up. So I just want to go over some of these charts of what some of these big names look like, just so we can see, is this a flash in the pan and we're going to have a reversion, or is this kind of the new normal? So the first one here is the PSIL, which again is a actively managed. The reason I say actively managed, it's not just all psychedelic sectors. They're doing some kind of picking and choosing and trading around there, but they hold psychedelic stocks. And that's broken out of this range around $14 a little while ago. You can see kind of the inverse head and shoulders look there, and then consolidating really nicely around this $15, $16. I did see MindMed is up pretty big in the pre-market, so we might get a little bit of a gap up here, but that's a nice look. Next one here, this is FXI, so this is China. Again, something that I own a fair amount of. We are slowly grinding towards that high that we had, that where I anchored that VWAP. That was the high when China just kind of threw the kitchen sink at their economy. They did stimulus, they lowered rates, they did everything they possibly could, and that had this massive spike. And then we spent a couple months where no one really cared about China again. And then slowly we've been grinding back up. For me, I'm watching that spike. If we can get over that spike from where everyone was super excited, could be a second wave on China. That's something I think we need to watch. And then last but not least, I don't know when the last time I've said this, this ARC chart looks really good. And it's probably been a long time since I've uttered those words, where you can see it's been chopping around this area, this kind of $62, $63 for a long time. Nice little breakout on yesterday. So I just want to kind of contrast, saying that, hey, ARC has already broken out and the SPY looks like it's going to break out. So at least on a short-term basis, we have relative outperformance in ARC. So none of these things are super risk off. I don't look at psychedelics, China, and ARC innovation as people are worried about risk, but it just seems that other sectors down the line are what's pushing us to new highs. So if we are going to break out and we are going to have this positive year and we are going to continue, I really think it's one of those times where it's time to, roll up our sleeves, dig deep, and try to find some names that look relatively strong compared to the market, instead of just leaning on these old names when it came to AI and semiconductors.
Sharif and I were sitting here this time yesterday talking about ARC, in fact, and the simple fact that she was selling some of those other names that you had mentioned there to start things off. Palantir, some Tesla she sold as well, and then she was buying, I think it was a uranium company, something that seemed a little bit outside. Yeah, it was CCJ. Thanks, Sharif. Something that seemed a little bit outside of her normal sandbox and her normal playground. So interesting to see that strength coming into play there.
Yeah, and it's just more of the same, where I think it's a theme shift. And this is the best case scenario, I think, from the bull case. Because the worst case scenario was, as soon as the AI theme kind of played itself out and NVIDIA stopped being a monster, that the whole market would start to sell off. But the strength in this rotation, again, if one NVIDIA sells off, 10 other stocks need to move higher in order to make it so that the market doesn't move. So if you're a bull, I think this is absolutely the best case scenario that we could see.
And it's been a while since we've had this as the scenario. Yes. So good stuff as always. Michael Nauss, have a great weekend. Best of luck with your uncomfortable amount of MindMed today.
Fingers crossed.
Let's go. So shout out to you. Thank you so much, Michael. Hit the like for Michael Nauss right in there. And this is what it's all about, right? Like, this is exactly what you want to hear. Confirmation of, reasons why we love this market, and it's a bull market. ARC looks fantastic. MindMed, we'll see how that one goes. It's been having a pretty good run of it. Those psychedelics, wow, that ETF has been absolutely insane. But yeah, ARC, technical breakout. There's no question about it. You can't argue. You can't argue with facts, and balls don't lie. Chart price doesn't lie either. It's taken the steps to the upside. What's impressive about this actually is, I know we keep talking about the moving averages, and watch out for our moving averages video, which is going to be coming out soon. If something respects it and you like it, it's just a good place to work in. Whether it's on a daily chart like ARC, if you're buying trend, or on a weekly, like NVIDIA recently bounced off a 50 period on its weekly, its recent low. If you like it, just a great place to dip by. Everyone's always like, well, when do I buy stocks or DCA into stocks? Simple, which I usually pick the 50 or the 200, whichever one seems to be working better on a stock I like, and just buy it there. So if you like ARC, congratulations to you. Looking absolutely fantastic on that one.
I just wanted to show, thanks Michael for coming through, of course. I wanted to show MyMed just one more time here because there was that base down here. We had the 50 period and the 200 period moving average down here at 750, then the pop up through to 950. So it's looking pretty strong. But then if you do this as well, this is the weekly chart for MyMed. So, it was here, it was there, it was here, it's here. It's getting close. Like if you break that $12 area right now, that's the high from April. So we were already here this year. You break that, then you're kind of forming maybe a new area in between 16 and 20 and so on to get a little bit higher from there. So yeah, MyMed on the weekly looks pretty good. One of the best weekly charts though, if you're going to look for something that's going to break out, Upstart right here. Again, just going back, you would think that, hey, why would I buy Upstart at 90 when I could have had it a year ago at 13? Well, you don't have it at 13, and right now it looks like we could get going here on Upstart as well. It's a big channel, like that downside move there is 58. So I don't know if it's going to break it either, but with Brian Shannon, we had talked about this play on Tuesday. And I had found that, and he had liked Upstart. But there's MyMed today. 200,000 shares of volume. Just a quick look. We're going to go to Adair in a second. The imbalance locator here today is not that much. Cliff there, so CLF. HIMS was going crazy yesterday. Crazy. Yeah, $61. Wow, okay. Big move yesterday on HIMS. Straight to the upside there. Nike with a sell. There's GameStop with a small little bid. We'll talk about all these names. I got a plan for GameStop as well. Sticky notes out. Uber still, 80 again. Okay, 80 right on the dot there. Got up to 80.50 today. So some interesting names there. These are Alibaba's 126. All of these names are all New York names. So the NASDAQ ones will come out at 925. Yeah, not a bad play shorting Intel. It's on the sticky note today, but I'm looking for the long. The problem is the market right now is pretty flat. So as we approach all-time highs again, let's see what this market wants to do. I'm not sure I'm convinced one way or the other quite yet.
Triple top on the SPY, if you look at the daily chart.
Yeah, I know. Me and Sharif were talking about that. We almost hit the high yesterday. We almost broke through it. So anyways.
Let's see what the upgrades and downgrades say.
Kicking off here with a couple earnings names from this week. Airbnb was reported last night here, getting a Robert W. Baird upgrade. Roku also from last night with an upgrade from Wells Fargo. Then we have Upstart, which had pretty insane run here since its earnings. Now on earnings day 3 with an upgrade from Morgan Stanley to boot. CRISPR getting an upgrade here from Evercore ISI. This is its second straight day on the upgrades side of things, I believe. Downgrade side of things, AMD slightly up on the day, but being downgraded by Daiwa Securities. Restaurant Brands has been on this downgrades list a couple times this week already, now getting a downgrade from TD Cowen. Informatica with a downgrade here from RBC Capital Markets, down 33%. And PG&E, which actually did have a data center related catalyst yesterday, now here getting a downgrade from Morgan Stanley, guys. What a list.
CRISPR is a name that is trying to make a bounce off the bottom. You saw that chart pattern on MindMed that Sean was showing you guys. On a daily, CRISPR, it's all lower highs and lower lows, but it just took the 50 period moving average, more or less. It closed there yesterday. A couple of days ago, it closed above, but then broke away. So it's done the stair step. This feels like it's making a little bit of a bottom. Yeah, you get a little bit of an upgrade. Maybe that's going to be enough juice for it. But this 45 prior support into resistance looks like a bit of a jump off zone. This looks like a trend reversion to me. It hasn't done anything parabolic yet. But if you close this week above that 50 period, and more importantly today, just hold a prior high. This is 45.5 to 46. So I think as long as it can hold that level. CRISPR looks good, up 7%. It's a Cathie Wood favorite. I don't know if that really matters. I mean, the chart's showing you a bit of a breakout here. Only downside, it doesn't seem to be doing a lot of volume. There's a lot of earnings names to watch today. You've got tons of names moving around on earnings. You have a bunch of day 2, day 3 type plays. You have stocks like Intel, which are doing volume every single day. And then you got things like Tesla. So I don't know that this is going to have enough volume. Never really pulled it up after the open. Looks great on the chart, but let's see what it looks like at the open if it's going to be tradable. But it could be a swing opportunity in the near future if you like this CRISPR. I love those 50. When you're making that bottom, hold a 50 period. It gives you an obvious out to get something at the lows. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Randy brought us one blueberry each.
Yeah, we waited.
Man, that's a good blueberry.
The problem is it's only one. What the hell? Can't eat one blueberry. All right. Who do you think you are? I am.
Thank you, Randy. All right, so AMD was on the downgrade side. I mean, I wonder why. This is what AMD looks like. Meanwhile, this is what NVIDIA looks like right now. So NVIDIA is starting to go higher right now, up 0.64, beating the market easily right here. NVIDIA is going to probably go up one. I got to get rid of some of these wicks, but there goes NVIDIA through 136. The different story here for AMD today. Although they're both up, the only thing about AMD is on that downgrade, I am interested in this level up here. If we do get up to 114 again, why not this, right? So we'll wait to see if that can happen one more time up there at 114 for advanced micro devices. We talked about this yesterday, Danielle, in the chat. You called this one, and it's a runner for sure. Micron right there. We talked about looking at this today in the semi space. So you are right now breaking above here on the daily chart, right into here for Micron. So this is looking pretty good. Now above the 50-period moving average. I'd say you go long in this name until that. I mean, that looks like 96. Let me see what this looks like on here. Yeah, 96 is a 200 period. So dip buy opportunities today for Micron. First, you might want to start it at 97 into VWAP, holding pre-market. And then, you know, the market could slip up here. There's not too many numbers coming today, but at the end of the day, if you fall back into VWAP, I think that's area 1, area 2 right here for the 200-period moving average. So Micron not on the sticky note. My bad. It probably should be. I didn't realize it until I saw your note after the fact. So good move up for Micron, up 2%. We really like relatively strong names, and that is one. So Micron for the win here today. Great look in the chat there. Chef Joe wants to know about NBIS. What is that? That's not Nobilis, is it? Oh, Nebius Group, NBIS. Okay, hold on, Chef Joe. Just because you're sending the pictures of the steak and the ribeye, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Heck
you know, you get a look for sure. Yeah, so up 10%. I don't know if there's news on this or not, but this stock obviously looking hot fire, man. I mean, this was 30. I don't even know what this is. This was $30. Wow, it's Nebius Group, so seems like some matrixy stuff. So we'll see what happens there. But again, this is what we're looking for, right? Great bottoms held by the 50-period moving average and then boom to the upside. So relatively new. Is it? Oh, this is an IPO maybe, I guess? Wow, if that's an IPO, it must not be though. Hold on a second here. Here's the E-signal chart. No. Name change? I don't know what happened there, but anyways, nice move to the downside. Yeah, looking like this wants to break a little higher here too. So this is another name that might just be getting through some, some negative comments, or I don't know if this was, I don't know why our chart stopped there. Oh, you know what? Maybe it went from the New York to the NASDAQ. Which might be what that was all about. Anyways, we'll go on it, but thanks, Chef Joe, for getting me sidetracked right there. No, let's go back over to the desk. Great look there, NBIS. Looks like it's a hot one.
It's one of those NVIDIA stocks, Sean, that was in that 13.5. So 1.2 million shares going into NVIDIA's pocket of that Nebius Group, according to that 13.5. So that'll do it. Anytime you mention NVIDIA, let's check out the market here.
61.35, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES March contract. We easily took 6,100 there as we got news that the tariffs weren't going to be implemented quite yet. Very close to all-time highs on the SPX index. We're at 61.15 right now. The all-time high 61.28 that we put back on January 24th. So here's the deal. We're looking at that 61.50 area as resistance because the overnight high is 46. So let's see if we can break through that. If we trend down for whatever reason, we're using 6,100 as support.
As always, if you haven't done so, jump down to the description of this video right now. Top link in the description will get you to the sign up page for the watch list. Absolutely free. Every single day comes right to your inbox, has everything you need to know on it. Before we come on at 8:30, here's 14% right now. It's just hanging on to 160 Airbnb. Yeah, crushing. You can say that again. Q4 estimates. And really pointed to the simple fact that people are actively choosing to move away from the classic hotel arrangement and go to the short-term rental.
No doubt about it, Brendo, and the numbers definitely reflect that. So let's talk about how they did. EPS, handily beat there. 73 pennies. The street was looking for 58, so a decided beat there. 2.48 billion in revenue. That's a 12% year-over-year increase. Handily beating, again, that street expectation of 2.42. Net income, Very good look here. $461 million is how much they made. They lost $349 million last year. So talk about moving to profitability. Now, with respect to expectations, we're looking for a decent year here, about $2.23 billion to $2.27 billion. That's slightly below expectations for Q1, Brendo, of this year. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that. But we're getting some really good gross booking numbers. 111 million nights and experiences booked. That's a 12% year-over-year increase, easily beating the street's expectations there, as well as gross bookings value.
I've been 3 of those.
I have been to none
so far this year. Yeah,
lucky you.
Yeah, if only someone had like a DeLorean, a time machine, go back to like 1955 and create Airbnb and just, blow it on up there. And I can't imagine anyone that might be able to do that. Oh, there he is.
It's Sharif.
With Fly.
He doesn't.
No, it's all good.
He doesn't
Sharif.
get the joke.
It's all good. Right over there. Look, man, my jokes are terrible, so there's no reason that you would get that hair looking sharp there.
Nothing to do with the hair.
Airbnb, look, 14% is hefty. You're into a chop zone on Airbnb. If we come to the chart for a second, you're into some resistance going back to early last year, above like $160. But when pulling, if you go back far enough in the chart, like you look at this 155 to 156 area. I don't know if we trade down there today, but that's where it pulled back into in the after hours as well. So maybe that's a little confirmation of that level. So you get some confluence there. It's like $6 away from it. So I think it would be more of a, if it trends down into that level, then maybe I would look at it. Whereas there's a bunch of other names I think are going to be right at prices that will be more active with at the open. This would have to trade down into that 55, 56 to look for a bid for me on Airbnb. This feels a little top-ish, and I think you could get some profit taking into that level.
Yeah, look, I think we had talked about this yesterday. We had seen some nice moves up there in CCL, Carnival. We've seen some moves up there in Jets, the ETFs as well, with all these plays. So it's not a huge surprise. Uber also reported good, ride-sharing numbers. So we know that people are traveling again. But Airbnb, Neil just talked about some levels there. I think it, again, its expected move was 14% actually. So I don't expect it to have too much movement, and you can see that's basically what's happening right now. So as options sort of get rinsed right now, I could see a pullback. Normally we like to play, just again, not talking about investing here, but just trying to play a level today. We normally say when there's a gap, play it back to VWAP, but right now that's right in the middle. So that 160 is not going to play at all. It might play at some point, but definitely not right off the open, because if you go long 160, then that drop is to 159. Like, you're not getting out on a $2 hit here. So that's going to be interesting. And you don't want to go long 160, put your stop here, it runs that, and then it just pops like crazy. So I would say I like a 164 break there, or wait and try to be patient and see if you get a 156. That is an easy trade. Like, it could fall no problem into 156. And I think that's where you buy it right now. That's a 200 period moving average. But again, it's not going to be the greatest moving average this early with less volume. So we'll just wait on it. Airbnb, probably not going to be traded, but a great move, great break on the daily chart. Nice to see that above 140. Congratulations, Airbnb.
There it is.
Hi, Marty.
There you go. There he is.
I got to open it up,
You need some
though.
plaid.
Yeah. And that's kind of burgundy, too. Isn't it? Darren's wearing burgundy.
How many layers does Muddy
You
McFly?
need
80.
It's faded. It's faded. Right. His is faded. You need
He's
that.
Canadian, too.
Yeah. You just need that Patagonia bag. You're fine. Let's talk about Coinbase. Downside this morning. A number of interesting things came from this earnings report. Brian Armstrong talking once again about regulation, saying hurry up and make a decision on what these are and what we should do with them going forward. That's not the first time, if you're just tuning in, that this has been a thing for Brian Armstrong. The overall price action, not great here after the initial move yesterday.
It was interesting because they they destroyed earnings. And Sean and I on the market recap show were wondering why it wasn't spiking more. I don't know if it was already priced in, Brendo, but here's what we got here for earnings. So Coinbase reported $4.68 per share. Guys, we were expecting $1.81 per share. So this is a decided beat. Revenue as well, $2.27 billion, surpassing the street's expectations of $1.88. And I don't know how they eked out $1.3 billion in total net income when they printed $2.27 billion in revenue. So almost taking home half the money there. So that's a fantastic look. With respect to transaction revenues, we saw this with Robinhood when they reported transaction revenue more than doubled from the year prior, $1.56 billion there, beating the street's expectation of $1.29, Brendo, and total trading volume up 185% year over year.
Sounds similar to what we were talking about with Robinhood a couple of days ago, as you said. Not a lot in the way of negativity here, guys, for this report.
Not really. Like those numbers are they're so insane that you're like, are the comparables even correct? Like, are those, like, is there something wrong with the analyst estimates, let's just say, because the beat ends up so big on the EPS? But it doesn't, at the end of the day, that's for them to figure out. Somebody seems to want to sell or has been selling it prior to even this, between 95 and 300. Look at the daily chart, you can see that's what's basically been happening. So I think it just needs to clear that. If you clear out this top, that prior resistance, and can break away from the mid 90s in here and take out the 300, I think it's a breakaway long. If it can't do that, I think you look for some kind of short. But it's flat. I'm not touching it unless it at the open. If it wants to make that breakout, fine. Then I don't mind being in longs after 300. But I feel like if this does that kind of a move, like there's going to be, if that does that kind of a move, then I feel like Robinhood's going to break out 65. I feel like if we're going to have a strong day today, Palantir has one heck of a consolidative top up here, 118.5. If we there's going to be breakout trades every single day or breakout setups almost every single day. So I like earnings, but Palantir, that's an example of a stock stair step up. If it's just taking out this top at 118.5, I'd rather do that than try to figure out why Coinbase isn't up a bajillion percent and down 2 points on those numbers.
Yeah, I mean, again, down 2%. It's supposed to move 9%. Pretty disappointing there for Coinbase. We saw a good report for Robinhood. And so it was rocking there yesterday. Had the call back in, now looking to break through that 290 level. I think it's probably a short, honestly, because you have to be disappointed from where we were to where we are. So I always try to judge what the market's going to think. And I don't know. I mean, it's hard to figure out what the market wants to do right now. And there isn't too many levels. If we're going to look at a 5-minute chart right now, I mean, it goes right into the 200 period moving average. I don't think this is on a 5-minute chart. That level right here of 282 could be something. So I'd say that you want to wait for that. I mean, if you want to put some bids down here, see if they get filled. I mean, that happened to us the other day. It was like, whoa, we got something. I think it was Apple or something right off. Maybe it wasn't Apple. Right off the open, and then it started to work for us. I think it was Apple, actually. So that could be something here for Coinbase. This little dip by opportunity into 282. But it's just, that would just be where we were yesterday. So I don't know. Pretty disappointing for Coinbase. Much more interesting to me, and I just tweeted this out. Most of you will have seen this, of course, and we have talked about it here on the show, and we'll get to it. Well, actually, we don't have it on the board here, but this is interesting to me. So this is what NVIDIA updated its portfolio. So ARM Holdings still in that, 900,000 shares, but sold Sound. There's NBIS, so thank you for bringing that up as well, and WRD. So I just want to say that Sound right here, not great for SoundHound. So down 25% right now, and this is actually looking like, I mean, I know it's obvious to say that when it's down 25%, but yeah, this is going to be bad. So I'm going to look short SoundHound. I don't even think it's too late to go short right now. I feel like when the NASDAQ imbalances come out at 925, there could be a huge sell on this. So I'm going to try with 100 shares. Let me just see.
I think it's free.
No, it's not. So you got to go in and pay for shorts.
Oh, I did. Never mind.
So yeah, $12.50 or so to VWAP. I mean, we'll probably get to this. You guys will want to know about it. But again, trade this as if it's an earnings play, right? So Gap. I just said this name probably gets hit even further into the open. Sorry for bringing it up, anybody that's long, but there's 30 cents since we started talking about it. I got to go in and pay for some shorts. Neil, just punch short, man.
It's super cheap.
Yeah, here we go. All right, let's get over to the desk right now. I wish I was short 30 cents ago, but didn't realize it. We had to pay for it. So we're going to do that and go back over the desk and talk about Roku.
Huge beat across the board here. Sean, as you were mentioning to start things off this morning, $1 billion in revenue and they can't make money. So there's that. But 15% at the highs there. We're coming off a little bit back below $100 here. Wells Fargo just straight upgrading to overweight here on Roku, $129 price target.
It was an interesting earnings call yesterday, Brendo. So CEO Anthony Wood, kind of giving us his strategy, how he wants to monetize his platform. So he wants to monetize the home screen ads. So by placing ads, obviously, on the televisions, he also wants to expand third-party ad applications as well as growing subscription revenue. So that is his strategic focus. Now, with respect to how he made money, they grew revenue 25% from advertising, but only 19% if you exclude political ads, obviously being an election year. With respect to the 2025 growth outlook, fantastic look here. He wants to expand revenue even more, 16% year over year for the quarter, and then 12 to 15% year over year, depending on whether there is political ads or not. Now, here's the deal. With respect to their focus, how they're going to make more money, he was pressed about this by analysts asking, does Walmart's acquisition of Vizio, or however it's pronounced, really kind of put pressure on you? And he doesn't think so. He feels that he's going to be able to expand his advertising revenue on his platform, so we'll have to see how this all works out.
Nearly, I was just double checking here, nearly 52-week highs coming into play. Might be actually to the date. It was that day, 2024, we got up to $100 the last time. So we're set to open up here once again. Huge level here for Roku.
Yeah, what a rally for Roku. And again, 50 period undefeated on that one. If it hugs it, if it likes it, it likes it. But you got to watch the 100. I don't know how many times you'll actually see pretty much exactly $100 just be the level on the chart. So you go back to that February of last year, literally a year ago, you were topping out at $100, and within a few days you dropped to 60. So if it breaks out from 100, it kind of speaks for itself today, I think. Volume's not great on this pre-market, and if it's not breaking through, like VWAP's above $100, if it's not over 100, I don't know how much I like this thing. Just when you look at that daily chart, you can see some profit taking because it's such an obvious resistance level. So I think you need to break 100. It's pretty clear. It could easily do it. Here's the issue with Roku right now for everybody. 60 cent spread. This is the spread on Roku. Like just now, if you got hit on the bid, you're offering out at 89. Like now it's an 80-cent spread on Roku. You got to wait for the stock to open up. It's just that simple. It's not. When it's that big of a spread and no liquidity and no volume, you really have to wait for it to open. Like I wouldn't take a 100 break on this thing because you get filled at 50 and then the bid could still be at 99 by the time you do it. So like this is a wait for the open kind of situation there on Roku because of liquidity.
All right, I'm starting to get some short here in SoundHound. We just paid for short, so we'll wait. We'll wait to see if it can come up to $12 here. $11.50 would be a great shelf, but I just want to get into this right now just to see, because if we do wash down a little bit there off the open, I want to have some kind of exposure, but not enough to understand that this could get SSR bounced, right? I mean, there could be a situation where we do bounce back up to the upside. So we'll wait. I mean, I would love to get this at 11. I mean, that's 11.80. And then 12.50 or so could be a trade there for SoundHound, but we just paid for shorts and just put in 1 unit. So we're into 1 unit right now, hoping to get, whenever I talk like that, the maximum would be 10 units. So, we're in 10% or so of what we're looking at. And I would say another unit or so at 25 just to see if we get a bump. And then more at 11.80. And then if we break through VWAP, then we can get out. I mean, honestly, that's the play. And I don't know if it's going to be a 10-unit play or not, but at the end of the day, we'll try to average it up. I mean, look, I called it up. We were here, right? We were 1150. I'm like, I want to get short this name. Realized we didn't have shorts. Went there, paid for shorts, punched short. So now let's wait to see if it goes. No real downside targets. Look, Roku looks fantastic. You know, breaking $100, that's going to happen right now. You'd like that to happen in the open market, but it doesn't look like we'll get that opportunity. So it's just a long. It's just a long through 101.50. It's up. It's as expected. If the bulls want this thing to work, they got to get it through $100, and it's got to hold $100. The implied move was, I think it was right around here. Let me just double check, because some of them were like, they're all around 14, 15%. Yeah, implied move 14.8. Okay, there it is. 14.8% for Roku is the implied move. So that we're going to open up at that.
Dead on.
So options right now washed. I think that's going to have to work to the long side. So I like it right there. I mean, here it is already. I mean, SoundHound is already here. So I mean, we're starting to go to the downside right now. There's the break. We'll put like 1% out or something. See if we can cover some fees right there at 96. But we doing some mean mugging right now at SoundHound.
People mentioning this JT AI, Jet AI, just be aware, this is a all-stock purchase, so all-stock transaction. There's a couple of other conditions involved in this as well, but Jet AI being picked up by FLYX, which is Fly exclusive. So JT AI popping up, a big move there for that one. Let's talk about Twilio, another one to the downside here this morning. Not a lot of interest, it seems, in this right now, but some significant levels coming into play here. 130, maybe a little bit better.
Yeah, not a bad report, Brendo. I mean, reported Q4 revenue of about $1.2 billion. That's about 11% year over year. Second consecutive quarter with double-digit growth, and the first time ever they've actually achieved GAAP profitability. On the call yesterday, the CEO was highlighting his new product lineup, about 25 new products and enhancements to boost revenue even more. Communications revenue, which they rely heavily upon, 12% year-over-year growth, which amounted to about $1.1 billion for revenue there. They also had some bad stuff on the balance sheet, $17 million bad debt expense with a Brazilian telecom company. And with respect to guidance, they're guiding for Q1 2025 about 1.3 to 1.4 billion, about 5 to 9% year-over-year growth. And yeah, that's the look there.
And that was a miss.
It was a bit of a miss, yeah.
The guidance, yeah. Hence the initial move to the downside yesterday. Still trying to get back above 10% here at least, guys.
All right, Intel, yeah. Oh, no, what are we on?
Twilio.
Okay. I didn't really look at Twilio this morning. I just covered some SoundHound there at 96. Yeah, look, Twilio yesterday was instantly, okay, hold on a second. Let's move this up here so we can see. Wasn't instantly bad. And then it started to battle itself back up. Now you're down that 10%. Again, looking at what the implied move on Twilio was. I really can't make this up. Here's the note. Look, implied move on Twilio, 10.1%. So, I mean, right there, like, that's what happened again. So, options nailed it. So, I mean, sucks to have that pullback. We've talked about names, and it doesn't work for all the stock. We talked about names that are so far away from the 50-period moving average. I'm looking at a Starbucks for names, you know, for a play like that. But there's the pullback in. But look where we bounced, right, off that 120 mark. So that's the 50-period moving average. So, again, a good name that should participate in the AI bump and on data and everything like that. So, again, Twilio's really been working. It's been an absolute beast of a stock. It's been a triple since October, or I guess October. So yeah, I don't know what else to say other than I think this is a buy the dip opportunity. We've seen Alibaba and names like that just like dip back into past support. This isn't support for too long. It's only about a month and a bit, but at the end of the day, I still like this 114, 115. So I think you start the buying at 120 and just, support this name and see if it holds these levels. And again, if you're in a Twilio, it's not like an Intel, which we're going to talk about. Like a 25% move for Intel is quite huge. This name you've just seen is up 300% since October. So, by the way, here goes SoundHound. Here goes SoundHound. So, looks like we'll start it off with a decent short here today on SOUN. Get out of another small piece here at 92. And let's see how far this name wants to get to the downside. SOUN to start the day. There it is. We get a 92, Phil.
Yeah, I like an SSR bounce on Twilio. Maybe, and it might not be today. It might be tomorrow. Day 2 short sell restricted bounce has been better, so I'm kind of hoping it ticks 10% down today, and then, Tuesday I should say, because tomorrow would be Saturday, and then Monday's a holiday. So that 120 on the daily, that looks like, I like the 50 period, no question about it. Today maybe the 130 level, but it has to get that 10% down. The range was so big in the aftermarket that I kind of feel like you want to give it some opportunity to go. I don't know if we have plenty of time.
Yeah.
You mentioned Serve when you talked about SoundHound as well. We mentioned Serve Robotics.
No.
Serve is the other name caught up in this. I shouldn't say caught up in this, but with the NVIDIA divesting and the 13F, Serve has not broken through the lows and still has a chance at VWAP. I'm sitting in front of 12 on Sound, but I like Serve has a chance. Because it's down so much more, it's actually down 37.5% as we speak. It's got the 15, it's got the 50-period moving average as well here underneath that you can maybe fade as these NVIDIA names, we'll just call them, start to sell off. And the ones that they bought, like I pulled up that WeRide stock. That's it's pretty illiquid. I think you want that one to calm down, but these two are a little bit more liquid, Serve and Sound. What's up, Randy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm out of my
already
coffee,
cold.
So
you know how it is.
If there was probably -7 right now.
Feels cold
Celsius, so 20 degrees Fahrenheit or something. Like that. Okay, so I have Intel on my board right now. It is going to be my number one idea here today for trade. So the problem is it's falling in right now to it, which is not a problem. It just means we're going to have to start to take the long. So Raiden, whoops, there's the show. We retweeted that out. Oh, look, there you are, Randy. Live.
Always.
Right now. So there we go. We tweeted that out. Go find it. But here it is right here. It's Intel 2450 long. I'm watching me, watching you, watching all of us together. 2450 long. Forget about Rivi and Randy. I'm trying to do something over here. We got Tesla on the board, though, as well, 356 to 358. We'll look at Rivian. Rivian had a great day yesterday, actually, and is holding that 1250 marker. But there's Intel 2450 long, up nearly 25% this week, watching for that 25 break. But if it breaks, we want to play it back into the 50-period simple moving average. So let's have a quick look at what this looks like right now. Intel up 2%, but fading in. There's 2450. We're bidding right now 2452. So if that fades, great. That's the 200-period moving average. We want to get long. Then we'll wait to see what happens at 24. If it breaks 24, then we know we can get out of Intel. We don't have to worry about it. So I like this play today. Strong name. But if we break 25, play it back into like 2470, 2480. So let's see what winds up happening. I'd hate to miss this by a couple pennies early, but it might happen. All right, imbalances are now out. There's Sound with a bid. So it actually goes the other way. This should allow me to get some more short, actually, right now. Okay, we'll try it a little bit more here into that short right now. We are waiting for a little bit more upside on SOUN, but Baba with a buy as well. So that goes through 130 possibly today. MGOL's now above $1, so that could be a name to look at there, up 25% right now. There's your Airbnb, which had a big day yesterday on earnings, now coming back in, Randy, down to 158. You should Airbnb your house. Maybe people will help you shovel at that point. He's like, you get one rate if you shovel, one rate if you don't. I'm just trying to, I'm just spitballing. I'm spitballing here, Randy.
Trying to shovel on vacation.
Yeah, it's all about the rate. And then GameStop with a little bit of a buy as well, and then NVIDIA with a sell. So, some big bear magic right here. Wow, okay, that's coming back. Yeah, yesterday gave it up a little. No, well, not really. I mean, at the rate there at 3 o'clock, we're up to $10 again. But there's a big bear today downside. NVIDIA popping as well right now, apparently. So, yeah, man, things are happening. We are now long into Intel as it's going the other way. Be patient with this play, guys, as we are now long Intel off of the sticky note level. Yeah, we got to watch out, though, because this was the bottom that we were looking for, the 200-period moving average. So maybe a little hype coming into the name. We're going to have to wait for 24 to average into this one.
Yeah, I actually think I was looking at Intel. If it failed that top, to look for a reversion short. It looks like it's not going to break that top because with the 25 level here, there's your 200-period moving average. This felt like if it breaks that top and comes back in, I'm looking mean revert short. You've got some support at the 24 level because that's where you managed to base out yesterday. We didn't really even talk about the chips that much. NVIDIA, I mean, what else can you say? It's an absolute powerhouse. I like the top end of this range the last couple of sessions. Well, afternoon yesterday, and then the prior high is a 134. Looking dips into 134. on NVIDIA. We did say Palantir, at least we mentioned Palantir with a 118.5 double top going back yesterday and into Tuesday. That's a double top, looking for the breakout here on PLTR. I think we covered just about every single name out there except for Tesla. Tesla is another one of those powerhouse type of stories. I'm not going to be sitting here on Tesla with bids. I just feel like with the Sound and Serve and Intel and NVIDIA and Palantir, there's enough to be looking at the open. But on a Friday, if we bounce off 350 or 355, I think you know where to do the joining on that particular name. I don't know if we're going back up to the desk at any point. I think we're pretty much good to go at this point. It's now 9:28, so you know at 9:28 you're going to get a big update on a bunch of those imbalances. Actually, don't see much of anything. Alibaba's there for 360, as you already mentioned, but nothing really stepping up too big. So Alibaba, that MGOL still there, DGLY as well. I'm kind of anticipating you could get some pretty good action off the open on Palantir. We'll see if it does that breakout.
It's going right now, Palantir.
Tesla just dipped, but I don't see an imbalance on Tesla. But Tesla just did a little bit of a dip there, about $1.50 coming into the open here. So there might be a small imbalance on Tesla or something like that. But yeah, most of these names not doing too much after the imbalances dropped at 98.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, just be careful because with these imbalances coming through, right now you are going to see a little bit of a different movement as opposed to getting into a stock and layering into them. This is why I have another bid down here on Intel at 20. So the next bid is 24.05. We're going to give it that look down there. And then I was just looking for this. That's 23.50 right now, the 200 period moving average. So there is a movement downside. So watch out here. We have to watch to see if 24 breaks. It could happen immediately as profit taking comes in. Neil talked about fading off 25. I talked about getting some out of my position long-term at 25. So if everyone's thinking this, at some point, something's got to be right. All right, SoundHound, we did get an average price now of 16s. Let's see if it drops in. We do have more shares now, so we'll average it out if it does come through 11. Let's see where SoundHound goes on, again, a new position, or out of the position now, is NVIDIA on SOUN. Looking at, honestly, like a break of 12 probably is around where VWAP will be, so we'll have to watch out to see if it hits that.
Absolutely, and it is the last bell of the week. Remember, it's a holiday on Monday, so 3-day weekend. Sometimes get a little extra volatility in the mornings when that happens, but let's ring it in 3, 2, and 1, Adara.
Right, we are now open. All right, so I'm going to put some more shares here at 12 on SoundHound and just see what happens. It does dip back into 11 and change. We do not get that fill, so we're going to have to wait for it. Intel rate
44.
Intel just dancing around right now. Okay, here goes SoundHound back up to the upside. Palantir going. So we're waiting to get some more short here on SoundHound. Palantir going, Intel going to the wrong way. So right now, we're 0 for 2 on where these movements are happening early on. It's only 30 seconds in.
Yeah, Palantir, whoa, that is woo-saw for sure. Woo-saw is...
Intel bounces.
That's from, bad boy. 119 here on Palantir just ticked in. So it just broke the 118.5. Whoa, already through 119.20, but as crazy as that is, SoundHound's up at $12. So Palantir's fine. SoundHound, I was waiting in for this.
What the hell?
This prior low, but look at this move in Sound. So Sound's starting to come back in. It's holding the $12 level. The other one is Serve Robotics. Serve not pressing into VWAP, so that one looks like it's okay. But
I don't.
Serve at VWAP, I might take, but
dude,
we're already
into
okay,
I'm wrong.
PLTR is just insane.
I don't.
Now $120 on Palantir.
Dude, we're long Palantir right now. Spin that damn money right here as we go to the upside. Yeah, huge move up there. We took that long. Bang, bang, bang. Palantir monster move now to the upside. We are long at 120 on that break. So far, so good there for Palantir. Let's go, baby. You've got it in you, Palantir. Yes, you do. As does SoundHound right now. Let's see what SoundHound does. We are in the money on this play. We talked about fading that. That's exactly what we did for SoundHound. Will it work out? I don't know, but we're about to find out right now. So right now, 10 cents in the money on SoundHound, and Palantir giving some back right now. There's that patented play of the break and fade right back. The problem is...
Oh, Tesla's dumping.
Yeah, this fade back is the market's coming back in. This fade right now, it could get nasty down to 117 and change. So be careful. That recent bottom right there of 119.30, that's probably a good out there if you need to take something on that. Tesla comes into 358. We're long 358. There it is. It's a dollar club right there on Tesla. So let's just keep this party going, guys.
SoundHound now all the way back at $11. So that was absolutely flushing in. Got 50s short, and it is looking like it never broke that $12 level. Sound, going to make sure we have half out going into this low. When it breaks the low, if it breaks the low, we want to hold on. There is no bottom here that makes any sense. The other one is also is Serve. Serve's back up at VWAP, so I'm going to see if we can't get into Serve off of VWAP as well. So 50 cents on that one. Palantir back above 120, so that continues to prove. Looking absolutely fine. Oh, whoops, NVIDIA. That's
Neil, what exactly are we doing? We are 4 for 4 right now, everybody. $1 on Tesla, $1 on SoundHound, 40 cents on Palantir. Come on, Intel.
What's
I pity the fool that doesn't hit the like and subscribe
It was just upside there, but SoundHound is the big trade of the day right now. SoundHound holding fort. We talked about it. We got it. It's SoundHound. It's an absolutely monster trade. Daily goal met right there. We talked about that. We would do that for you. Talk about when we hit these goals. So there it is right there. And the reason why I do this is because, again, I'm here to tell you, you can be a part-time day trader if you need to. Follow the watch list, follow the sticky note, follow some of our ideas, take advantage of the market moves, take advantage of them quickly. I mean, look what's happening right here on Tesla. We wrote down 358. So right there, $1.25 upside and going higher, I hope, through 360 is Tesla. But it's all gravy when the market goes up. I mean, when you got longs and the market's going up, it's easy day. But when this market falls down, you got to be careful. So start getting out of some of these positions. I mean, SoundHound is really the monster that... I thought it would be there today once we saw that note. So that's why we tweeted it out. We have this trade. We have it early. And then we were super, super patient with it. We said play the play up to VWAP. That's exactly what we did. And we nailed into this one, man. Now $1 in the money on SoundHound. Palantir is the one that's fading out a little bit here.
Yeah, but that said, Palantir is still, like, it's up 1 1/4. Sorry, 1 3/4. It's a blue sky setup because you're just broken out here on the daily. These are all-time highs for Palantir. That's what I like about it. So the even dollar 120 level on a Friday, I expect to get some gravity around that. The one miss, NVIDIA at the open was a bit of a miss here. It actually dipped into VWAP, so we did have a chance at NVIDIA, but it's now gone. So going to have to play the patience game with this. I mean, you can't catch every single breakout. That's just how the market goes. But NVIDIA's starting to get away from us a little bit. And yeah, that's a missed opportunity. Feel like I should have had that one. We'll get back on over to Intel. That's the other name at the open. It's not pressing into the 25 yet, but I feel like that's a yet situation. It's going to get there. It's had that kind of strength, so we'll make sure we can get over to that one. And then Alibaba, apologies, we didn't really get to the Chinese ADRs. They're doing the normal thing, which is we gap up big, and then you start to fade. So as always with this, I'm going to be patient with it. Every time I try to get the long when it's doing this on the gap up reversion, get in too early. So I want to wait for the opening range. We're going to wait for that first 15 minutes at least before trying the longs. If it starts holding VWAP, we're going to look long on BABA, but patience is the name of the game here.
All right, yeah, we're being as patient as we possibly can be with Intel as well, because here goes Intel right now, back up to the upside. So, oh boy, we're going to talk about firing off some hot dog cannons here again today, because, yeah, it's going to be a nice day so far as we go 4 for 4. But the problem right now is if you're still holding some of these shares, which we are, but we got out. So again, the dollar club's there a little bit there on Tesla. We talked about 356 holding. What? I'm bidding 356.50 there on Tesla. So I don't know what happened with that. We did not get that fill. That's too bad because that was a rocket ship of 356.50. So we missed that by 10 cents. That's too bad. Okay, let's go back over to Adara. As SoundHound is your definite, man. That is your, I don't know what to say. Neil has it. We both have it right now. Travolta's like, come on, man. This guy was telling you all about SoundHound. So we're really happy with where that's going. Let's go to Adara.
When I hear an RX, Recursion Pharmaceuticals, this name is NVIDIA related. NVIDIA invested $50 million in the company a couple years ago now, July 2023. No news on this today, but about a 20% short float and could just be moving on ongoing NVIDIA related catalysts. Then we have MBRX here, that is Molecular and Biotech. They had a nice move up yesterday, just giving back some of this right now, but still up on the day here. They had some positive FDA notes yesterday. Back to you.
Okay, here comes Palantir. I mean, this SoundHound is, okay, so Palantir just broke.
Moderna's halted.
Yeah, Moderna had horrible earnings. Which way? Upside?
Up.
Yeah, so it's probably, again, circuit breaker maybe. All right, so SoundHound is just an absolute monster, but Palantir is not. Palantir goes the other way now. We talked about how nasty of a retracement this could be, so we only tried it again there at VWAP and then all the way down now. So now you're getting into where this is why stop orders save you basically. Like we'll be green today, obviously, with that play. So that's the craziest part about it, is that be able to get out there and able to reload it right now at 117.89. So we'll see if it can get back. Well, there it goes. So nice push up off that recent bottom. Nice push back down now for Palantir. I'm going to get something out in the teens if we can here of 18. Again, who knows, but I want to use this 117.50 right now. See that? Out there in the 20s, and then whoops, right back down as they come in and sell Palantir. This name could go for a rip. It's just a matter of when. It doesn't look like it wants to do it right now. So let's watch out. I'm going to wait for so because we got some out, I'm going to wait for 116 break lower. Sorry, 117 break before we get out. So not trying to panic right now. Let this one breathe a little bit. But it's SoundHound, and it's your number one trade of the day. Intel right there. Boom, 24.50. Let's go, man. It's your hot dog cannon one more time there for this play. So let's see what happens now with Palantir, and let's see what happens now with Intel. That's a banger on Intel.
Wow, great one over there. Serve just broke. Oh, I just missed Serve Robotics by a fraction there. Serve's breaking the low of the day as well. Now down 42%. So Sound 30, Serve 40. I'm going to play the next available bounce. I think you just want to be short these names as NVIDIA divests and bad things happen to them. NVIDIA is still climbing higher and higher and higher. Just made another fresh high and now pulling back into VWAP. So I want to play VWAP here on NVIDIA as long as we have a chance to get it. I just took some SoundHound out at 70s. Sorry, check that 60s. And we're going to get some, I have a bid at 10 just in case it flushes down there, but 10.50 should be the next level as well. So every 50 cents, I think
boy,
it's matter on SOUN as that one starts to come in. But NVIDIA, for the first time today, we get a crack at VWAP on NVIDIA. We'll see if we can't get this one back into the long side on NVIDIA. It's up 1% into a market that is basically flat right now, exactly flat on the NASDAQ. We'll see if we can't pick this one off VWAP. Want to make sure it's bouncing first, and then we'll jump into it, Adara.
Be aware here, Wynn Resorts, another earnings winner from last night. This thing is at days highs for WYNN, getting a positive note from Mizuho this morning as well after their earnings beat across the board. Guys, back to you.
Let's go. Let's just go right now. Like, there's nothing else to talk about for me. This Intel trade is huge right now. 24.50. It's a sticky note level. We just posted it, and it's a big one. Palantir, we're trying again right now. So we do have an upsized position here off of that last fade into the 200 period moving average. These are trades that I like, so it's going to be a bigger one. We're just going to wait to see what it does, but that's why we're getting out now. We're long at 117.17, and I'm not really liking the reaction here. The market, I wish, was over, but right now it's under. And what I'm talking about right now is VWAP and the 50-period moving average. All right, well, we have another stinker on board right now. Looks like it wants to drop through, and there goes Tesla. So again, Tesla does not hold our 356 area. No siree, it does not. Nice move down for Tesla as the market's giving it up.
NVIDIA's dropping too. Everything's dropping.
Yeah.
Hang on to your shorts, man. Well, I mean, SoundHound dropping is a good thing, but yeah, we're right back into prior highs here on NVIDIA, so I've got the dip essentially at VWAP. I mean, 20 cents above VWAP, but it has to hold on to that prior high. So this is 136.20 if you look at that prior wick. If we lose that, I'm jumping out and waiting for the pre-market lows because everything else, I mean, everything I'm looking at is bleeding to the downside as we speak. So I don't want to be sitting here and then holding it to that prior low. So I'm just going to get out. Let's regroup. Right now, the shorts are what's working. I didn't get into SERP. I think realistically, it didn't matter. Like, you could have picked and chosen early in the session, like in the pre-market, which one of these two you wanted short, SERV or SoundHound. but SoundHound is distinctly weaker since the open. Like, this one dropped down about $1.30 when you're having Serve do a little bit less than that. So Serve, maybe a little bit stronger. It's trying to come back in. I still want to short this and give myself a chance. But, you know, I'm going to cancel that order. I don't need it popping. I'm offering $1.30 higher than where the stock is. If it gets there, then who cares? So we're going to look for re-entry in NVIDIA, but a little bit more patience. And same thing with Alibaba. Baba's still heading down. The idea for me is to wait that first 15 minutes, then look for a mean reversion when it tries to fill that gap. Let's go to Adara.
Keep an eye on Amazon here. Seeing some reports apparently that prosecutors in Italy are probing Amazon with regards to a alleged tax issue valued at 1.2 billion euros. So multi-billion euro tax issue apparently potentially being probed in Italy for AMZN. Back to you.
GameStop dumped too.
All right. So we got stopped out at Palantir there, but that was a bad stop because look what we're doing right now. Wow. Okay. Right back up. We'll get some out there in the 40s. Just the wrong stop level right there. We did real good though on Intel, man. That came right up to $25. So there's the sell on that play, man. That was pretty much perfect for me there. We'd wish that we had more perfect executions there on Intel. On Palantir. SoundHound, man, I mean, more outs, obviously. When you're going to get a 10% move on this name on SoundHound, and we can make $1 on a $11 name, we're going to do that over and over again. So SoundHound, yeah, buddy, good trading down there to that downside. And then it was just Tesla. Tesla fell through and is still going. So I don't know where this name's going to stop or not. We're going to give Palantir another try into 1680, which is the recent low on Palantir. But for Tesla, I don't really see, I mean, the 200 period is what we try to use if we're getting really slaughtered down, and that's at 350. And then I'm not sure 350 is really that great there. I'm more looking at this 348.50 area as a possible area to hold. We did that yesterday, and it was a monster into the close, if you remember, with Obi. So we'll have to wait to see what happens here with Tesla, but we had bought it down here before. Let's see if it works. All right, Palantir reloaded there on that low.
Just a couple of things here. Moderna's reopened, bounced off VWAP. It's heading higher, looking like an absolute powerhouse. I do not know why Procter is going down. I was just asking the chat. PG is absolutely tanking, which is unusual for it because it's not that much of a mover. NVIDIA still not holding above VWAP, so I'm not getting back into it just yet. It's still kind of bleeding into the downside on NVDA, showing a little bit of relative strength, but all the relative strength seems to have been in Apple, as it hasn't got a red candle yet. So it's looking very, very strong, above prior highs, above VWAP. That looks like a good one. SOUN just reclaimed $11. So I know that's not saying a lot when it's down 27%, but it is an SSR name. I actually just tried to punch. All right, we didn't get that. We didn't get that, Phil. But I actually just tried to punch back through when it went through 1080. If it does a rollover at VWAP, I think that's an obvious place to look for a short.
Let's go Intel.
But obviously, if it gets to VWAP, you know, I don't want to have given it all up. So I'm going to make sure we hold underneath 11 here. If we don't, I'm going to get a little more out before we get into VWAP, because that'll be close to break even for us on SOUN.
All right. And in your banger of the day right there, obviously SOUN is there, but this was the one that I'm the most proud of. We talked about 24.50. It came in right off the open. It tanked in. We were waiting for, I told you we were waiting at 24.05. That doesn't come through, but there goes Intel again, right back up to the top. So we now only have 25% left of this name. That's now twice that it's been up there and stopped. We got a bunch of outs up there right now. Oh boy, man. We were red on Palantir at one point. Green now on Palantir. Well, when that drops down, we get a little bit less green on that one. But here it comes right back in for Palantir. All right, more outs in the 60s. Let's see if this one wants to go, man. It looks like we only have one red stock right now. That will be Tesla, which is now higher than when we sold it. But all right, bouncing off at 352. Let's go, man. If Palantir retakes this, then oh boy, what a way to cap off the Friday. And what a way to cap off the week with a big Friday right now. Let's just wait to see if this can happen. Oh boy, for Palantir. It lost its way early. Let's see if it can get it late. Palantir right now reloaded. We just got it. We'll see if it gets up to the hopefully to the moon. All right, so I put a bid on SoundHound right here at 99. Maybe we break it, maybe we don't. There it goes. We did not get that fill. So right now they're on SoundHound. We'll have to wait. All right, you know what? I'll put a bid here at 02 and then cancel the 99 fill. So if we get an 02, great, and then hopefully it will fall back in there for us. It's Palantir, man. It's the doozy right now. We're waiting to see where this goes. Big trade alert, honestly, on Palantir. Just wish we didn't get dropped out there, but that is what it is. I've learned to hold things back in. If you get stopped out, that's fine. You can always retry it, but just make sure that you're managing risk, because you can't just keep on going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, or else you're going to get stopped out. All right, there it is, man. Another 98 fill on SoundHound.
Yeah, SoundHound coming back down, and exactly the same thing happening on Serve Robotics.
Holy
that finally curled? So first available pop into Serve, just grabbed the short into 1340 here. Actually got 28s into 1340. If it takes the low, that's 1265. So I'm going to get a bid at the low of the day, and then just see where this can go down. So remember, NVIDIA divesting out of both Serve and SoundHound. There are no levels really until this thing gets to like $11 and $12 even on this bad boy. Still looking for NVIDIA to give us that long back in. First shot failed. Look at that. Oh, I like that wick on NVIDIA. That's a nice reversal wick on NVIDIA above the prior high. Starting to look a little bit better here for the bounce play. And we're going to get a long if this holds and closes above VWAP and breaks this level. We're going to go for the long. But right now, the shorts, the shorts in anything that NVIDIA decided it wanted to sell were good so far this morning. Doesn't really matter which one you took. Going to hold on to see how far they go. But NVIDIA, I want to get this long a second time through.
We're working on these dramatic pauses. Wow. Okay. Here goes Palantir right now, $1.50. We're trying to get this to go. Intel is an absolute face slapper. That just got to 25.20. Palantir, Intel. Oh yeah. We got another one right here. We got FXI. Look, we wrote down FXI. I don't know. I like it. We'll see. We should have just taken that profit. That went up to 10 cents in the money. It's pretty good for an ETF. All right. So I don't want to get too, chilled about this, because obviously, we've just had some big moves in many of these names. So we have to make sure that we're capturing profits, right? Palantir, let's just not get too carried away. All right. Well, now it's just getting carried away itself. I can't control this right now. Palantir is an absolute unhinged trading vehicle right now, straight there to the upside. It will be, unless you have some bangers there, this will be the biggest stock right now today. There goes Palantir, up $1. I was just playing around when I said $1.50. What about $1.70, Neil? What about $1.70 on Palantir, 80 cents on SoundHound, 50 cents on the trade of the day with Intel, and FXI just stone cold chilling. And if you had better patience, maybe you're able to pick up something there on Tesla, but I'm just going to keep getting out. Palantir now $1.80 and going higher. What's good with you over there?
Serve just broke 13, but I said, look, my play on Intel.
Where's Randy at, man?
If it wasn't 24, it was going to be a fade at the 25 fail break. If it fails break, it hasn't done a fail break yet, but it is right here on trend, trying to hold higher. This is simple. If it holds the trend, this is going to be a rocket ship. Only wanted to short this if it failed at 25 break, which is at right now. So if it closes underneath this little trend line we have here, then I'm playing the short. Otherwise, I'm not touching the short with a 10-foot pull.
Good idea.
Well, it is what it is. Yeah, it's a very specific short setup. It has to fail that breakout. NVIDIA bouncing off VWAP. I'm going to get another offer out in front of the high. And then if you want to check back on Serve and Sound, just call them. It doesn't matter. The S&S. They're both at the lows now. This is down 43%. Serve is down. SoundHound's down 30-something%.
No, Sound's not at the lows yet.
Serve is at the lows. SoundHound's retracing back to the lows. I'm going to get these two mixed up, but it's
Palantir is $3.
They're both absolutely good shorts at this particular moment. But Intel is the one that's setting up for me right here, trying to break this trend. It hasn't done it yet, but if it does, I'm looking for the reversion here on Intel. Underneath, now the high is 25.20. Come on, close underneath 25. This bar closed underneath 25. I'm short Intel.
All right, man. Yeah, Intel is already, we now have 10% left of Intel. We look at that. I mean, that's the short right there on that exhaustion. But yeah, I think that could be right. We just got some more out at 25 if it's fading back in. So Palantir, by the way, is at 120 right now. This is a $3 winner on Palantir. And oh boy, if we had just held a little bit more shares this day, we would just be walking out of here right now. But we still have a lot of day to go. It's 9:51 right now. We've already talked about making our day goal, and it just happened right here with Palantir. We gave some up there, back up to that upside. Palantir just really cruising right now. Tesla downside, Intel upside, FXI. Sharif, my guy, we're having another day over here. Every day this week has been a green day. Every day this week has been a. We're just. I feel like I'm actually getting like significantly better. I don't know, Neil, how your training's been this week, but we've been absolutely like on fire. And we talked about it yesterday with Obi and with Adara and everything, is that these are the best markets right now, like right here, right now. Markets always will change, but I just feel like what we've been experiencing, look at Sound, look at Big Bear AI, look at FXI, look at NVIDIA, Tesla, Palantir, all these names. So how do you feel about this trading
I feel
environment?
great about it. I think that's the best part is it gives you, this market gives you everything. Like, it doesn't matter the direction. You want to go dip buy? Great. You want to play mean reversion? Great. You want to buy and hold Meta? Great. Like, it's all working. I'm going to double check, see what Meta's doing, to be honest with you. But we got the fill on Intel, but I did not get it where I wanted. I was trying to short it right up in here. All right, well, I'm still offering 95s. So I tried to get 95s, and I couldn't get filled. I ended up getting filled underneath 90, which I wanted this 95 back into this prior high, so I'm chasing it down for less because obviously it's a different price. But the reversion from that 25 level now incoming, gonna get a bid down here, 24.6. Now keep in mind, this is a reversion trade. Intel has been up 7% every single day for the last 3 days in a row, because I don't think it was on Monday. So I want to make sure that with reversion, if we bounce off the lows, it's still an upward trending stock. So we got the short that we wanted. We double check on NVIDIA because all of a sudden 137 is a problem on NVIDIA. You shouldn't have any problem with 137 NVIDIA. You're a strong stock. We should be going higher and higher and higher. The market's at the highs. The market just went green. I would suspect NVIDIA should do a little bit better than this. As long as VWAP holds, I'm long VWAP. If we lose VWAP, then I want to go long somewhere in the pre-market low rate.
What are we even doing?
Still low, both shorts still working here.
I don't know.
Essentially everything's working, but it is what it is.
Yeah, everything's working. That is for sure. This Palantir right now working, I'd say. That's up to $20 right now. This FXI working. I mean, again, like what we had written down today, it's just, as Neil said, working. Like, I think that's a great word to use. Today's sticky note trading, of course, we had Intel 2450 long. Told you that was monster right off. Oh, we haven't looked at GameStop. The Tesla was a fail. There's the 35 long on, we'll go back to Tesla right now. The 35 long was a trade there on the FXI, which we have on board right now. So, all right, let's give this a shot and see what winds up happening now in this market. So FXI, more outs there. As we get back into the pre-market levels, I actually like that level there. So we'll see if there's working capabilities on that one. As SoundHound falls in, you know that we're going to take some shares out, man. So there it goes, a nice trade there on SoundHound to come back out, and we're getting lighter and lighter on that. We actually only have now about 10% left of this name. So SoundHound is what it is now, trying to get back in. Intel, we're long on Intel. We just bought some there. That's supposed to be a buy on Intel. We're not getting stopped out there. I want to get some more long on Intel, so let's do that right now. Okay, there's the Intel long. Okay, so we're going to wait to see if this one wants to hold. Good short there on the push back in. Great trade in the back there for Obi as well. He has the exact same trade. I think he's short 25, so congrats on Obi there, maybe even higher. All right, so here we go, man. Intel failing out right now. 24.25 is the bottom for Intel. Let's see what it does. On not the greatest movement here for the long. Good trade on the short. Let's see what happens right now for Intel.
I took it out at that low because I still think it's a good stock. I think it's a good trend overall. But I just looked over and SMCI. What the heck is going on with it?
What?
9% to the upside. This is, oh my goodness, what a break. Why? Yeah, that's a clean break at 44. That's annoying. I'm pretty sure it doesn't really matter. SMCI probably going to test 50 today. Just look at the daily chart, everybody, just very quickly. There. Come to the chart, if we can. Yeah. This is $50 on SM4, 49 to 50 on SMCI. There's nothing in between here and that. I think I want to look to maybe buy some dips. I'm out of Intel. Said that trade was a reversion back into the low and see what it does at the low. If it bounces into VWAP, I'd short VWAP. If it bounces in 25, I'd short 25. Serve still looking okay. But here's the only concern I have with Serve Robotics is look at the bottom. It's just holding that bottom. It's down 43%. And if it's not flushing at this point, it could do a bit of a SSR bounce. Down this much, if it relief rallies, I don't need to be taking this back into VWAP because VWAP is $2 away. So there's going to be a very tight stop right in here, just to make sure that we don't go anything worse than a 10-cent win on this. You just can't seem to go any lower. It gave us about 30 to 40 pennies on this, but that's about it on Serve. SoundHound seems like it's just the better short at this point.
Wow. There has to be something out on Intel, I would think, at this point. But congratulations. Great short there for everybody. This is really, I'm just trying to go long here at 24 again. We talked about this would be a level, but I feel like there's something. I mean, this was up 5% and then straight down. So there we go. We're going to get out of it. Great fade there on Intel. Good call on that one, man. I mean, now I'm trying to find a bid. We're right at bid levels right now. I'm going to try it just because it's just so far down. We just tried it at 24, but right now we're getting into this level here on the 200 period that we could try one more time. 2360 here on Intel. Let's see if that holds. But right now, downside movement here on INTC. Great look up there at the top. We didn't get out of enough, and then we tried to buy it back, and that has not worked. So, all right. Intel moving right now, as you can see. Let's get back and see if it can get back above 24. It doesn't look like it right now. Problems here with Intel. We're getting some out as it goes. Okay, here it goes back up. All right, we'll make a little bit back, but at the end of the day, not a great call to hold on to that one. We'll see what happens here. Adara at the desk.
Just waiting on some numbers here. Before we go to those numbers, though, a little bit early because I wanted to address Intel and PG, both of which I looked into. I found nothing on PG. The one thing was apparently an individual named Terry Smith. He's a CEO and hedge fund manager of Fundsmith. He reduced his position in the company by 0.15%. So that is very small. He sold about 6,000 shares. That was through 13F filings. That's not a huge position. And again, he still has the vast majority of his position still in. With regards to Intel, I also see nothing. The only thing I am seeing is apparently Intel is still on track for its largest weekly gain in over 40 years. So Intel looks like it could be a bit of a pullback. I'm seeing zero catalyst to suggest any weakness in that name, and same with PG beyond that very small position reduction. Now for business inventories, we're going to get them in about 30 seconds. We're expecting a drop of 0.1% versus the previous positive 0.1% that we got there for the previous print. Just to recap as well, we did get some lower than expected retail sales data earlier today. So in about 15 seconds, we're going to be getting these business inventories month over month. We'll also get Fed's Logan speaking at 3 p.m., but other than that, a pretty light day when it comes to economic data and Fed speak, following a pretty eventful week with regards to tariff announcements and Fed Chair Powell testimony. So we are now getting through these business inventories coming in negative 0.2%, so a little bit lower than the expected 0.1% drop. Here is PG, as mentioned, this went on quite the tumble to the downside on very little discernible catalysts. And then we also have, we're going to take a look at Coin, one of the many earnings names today. Keep an eye on Coinbase, Palo Alto Networks, DraftKings, Airbnb, Roku, Moderna. So many names here in earnings, a lot of them pushing lower. Back to you.
Okay.
Pan L, that's what it is. It's Pan L, not Pan W today. This is not really a tradable stock. It's just more of a long-term an annoyance. Alibaba, by Sharif's laughing, but Alibaba said I'd be a little bit more patient with this. It's starting to put in some. It tried to hold VWAP, it didn't, so there it is. But it's got a double bottom at 124. If it can put in a higher low off of this, then I start looking for the longs in Alibaba. Yeah, I actually thought Intel was going to hold. Obviously, thought it was going to hold a pre-market low when we got out of it, and now all of a sudden it's trying to battle that 24. I still look, if it gets into VWAP, I probably still think it's a continuation short off of VWAP. I did get out of Serve Didn't seem like it wanted to hold the same way. Whoops, it's not a London stock. Didn't seem like it wanted to hold underneath that 1330. So we're out of this. It's not really moving as much as SoundHound is, so I don't think the volatility is going to be nearly as good in Serve Robotics. Alibaba, as I said, I want to be in the long in this one. It's finally giving some strength in here. Come on, chart. But here's the issue. NASDAQ's starting to come in.
Yep.
So the market's starting to come back in. So if I'm looking long in Alibaba, I got to be a little bit more patient here. Instead of hoping for VWAP, maybe let it travel in, make some kind of a double bottom, and then we can work off of that. So still like the long, but when it's trying to fill the gap, you got to be a little bit patient with it. NVIDIA's coming right into prior low at 136. This is the next place I want to take it. We took 2/3 out off VWAP so that we can try to play the 136 low. The market is not looking very strong right now. So I thought we'd be a little bit better than this. NASDAQ's flat, but we just failed the high, and we're starting to come back in. Worth a look at SMCI after, if I can get this 136 bounce. If it bounces 136 on NVIDIA, I'm going to go over to SMCI as well. But it doesn't look like we're bouncing at all here.
No, market falling pretty good. SoundHound's bouncing a little bit there. We were able to take advantage of that Intel bump a little bit there, but it failed 24 again. So yeah, good try on it. I feel like that last time there, waiting for some sort of exhaustion, but again, trying the long early works. Then obviously that fade through 25 there, putting some numbers up on that move. So good one there. But look at that, 24 failed. But we had some outs here, which has been pretty good, breaking through 24. 05s, 07s, 10s, 11s, 12s, 15s. So let's see if it goes. Another out, just by the way, there on Palantir. We got some out at 60s. Now you're up to 70. I don't have any more offers on this name. Let's just see if we can get back up into the 120 area. It's $3 that we're sitting on right now with Palantir, hoping to get that upside move. I don't know if it's going to be there or not, but we gave it a shot. It did rinse out. Remember when Palantir broke? And again, we got a really nice email from somebody yesterday talking about how they really like how we explain things. Sometimes it's more about not actually having winning trades or losing trades on, but explaining the process of them. And I mean, we said that when this breaks, there was going to be a possibility of this thing always coming back, because this has been the play this week, was breaking and coming back, then getting going. So that's what I thought was going to happen there with Intel. Intel doesn't look like it wants to get going at all anymore. But there's the Palantir break. This is where we always going to try that VWAP, but then we dumped it. Then we tried again here, tried again there, which was okay. Eventually got it back to the upside there, but then lost it right there, then bought it back again. I would rather there had been a bigger volume candle there to really signify this move, but again, we're able to get it 3 times down there. It actually came, the first time was a little light, then it came back in again, came back in the next minute, popped up, 50 period VWAP. You know what, though? Now we're at this level here. So Intel just broke lower.
SoundHound's at VWAP right now.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to reload it, though.
I'm only reloading. This is going to be tricky because it's so SSR. Good. I'm only reloading if I just got out. So we're first in, first out. So this is an odd situation where it's actually my lowest fill short was an actual price. My average price in the stock was 60, so I actually just got out break even. But because my last fill was on the way down instead of on the way up, then it would have shown me at 40. My average price was 60. I'm out of it. I'm only going back in if it breaks this upward trend that it's on right now. So this higher low on SOUN, if it breaks the trend, I'm going to go short. What's tricky about it is SSR, meaning if it starts to go down, you won't necessarily get a fill if you punch. But if it does, if I can get it if it closes underneath, then I'll go back into that trade. But I'm just going to keep that trend line up. I'm going to hit save so that we can actually have it up, and then go back to NVIDIA. NVIDIA back to VWAP here, so it holds the 136, and it's still putting in lower highs and higher lows. So you're getting a bit of a wedge here on NVIDIA. I still like the 136. We'll wait for that to come in there again. If it continues this pattern, I don't see any reason why we can't get back to the high of the day. Always been a strong stock. I haven't traded Tesla yet because it hasn't really gotten to 350. On a Friday, I always feel like if you get a level like a 350 on Tesla on a Friday and you want to trade off of that, and this could be it's trending down, like lower highs, you pull all the way into 350 and break the trend, I want to look long. So maybe one more press of the low, and then if we break the trend on Tesla, I'd look for the long side of the trade. That's about it, because Alibaba doesn't look like it's really setting up all that well. Yeah, Alibaba looks like it's making another run for the low. So long not really setting up here on Alibaba. Maybe that takes me to SMCI. If the stock that you wanted to go long isn't giving you a long setup, go look at the strongest name out there, and you would have seen my facial reaction when I just pulled up the chart of SMCI. There might not be a VWAP dip here today. But 50 is the level that it seems like you can get to, and there's a heck of a lot of green between 46, 47, and 50. So it could just be a next available dip situation here for SMCI to be involved. What a rocket. To be honest, I don't think I would have missed this stock if I was here yesterday. I think part of the reason why I wasn't paying enough attention to SMCI was I was kind of refreshing what are the things I missed and kind of didn't get to SMCI because there were so many stocks to cover. That's a big miss because that's an obvious. You knew it was a squeeze potential play this week. We knew this.
Yeah, SMCI was a big trade for me this week. Not today, though. So, yeah, definitely missed opportunity there. Okay, Palantir, let's take it out at 20s. So we're taking some more out there. It's $3 in the money. So we're just going to watch out for that one. A monster trade right there for PLTR. We're about to get stopped out now. So we're short at 71s. I mean, obviously, when we take this trade, you don't expect it necessarily to come back up. But we did short VWAP there, 61s. And then VWAP was actually at 55s, but it was sort of hovering around there. I just kind of trying to play this little level right there. So we got short at 64, then we got short again at 80s. So right now we're short 71s, VWAP at 55. I think that would be at least a reasonable spot to maybe put something back in and around there. We're short at 71. So let's put something out in the 60s, and then I got to spread out the different gateways that I'm using because I don't want to make sure that I don't have you can't just put out like 10 ARCA bids or anything like that. There's restrictions on all of that. So, that's
a good note. If you trade with real trading, when you put orders out there to take profit, you can't. Usually, it's 4 or 5 per gateway. There's reasons behind it. I've made that mistake myself, where I think I'm putting orders out and you're not.
Yeah, big trade alert right now. Thanks, Neil. Big trade alert right now. Let's go. There's the short back in on SoundHound. So we got some covers there in the 50s. That was good, man. Right back to VWAP. I mean, that is literally, as Nauss would say, as it was written, because that's what we're trying to do there all day, every day. So big movement to the downside here for SoundHound. Not big, but we'll take some profit there and see if it wants to go now the rest of the way. So that's what we're doing right now on SoundHound. Let's see if it gets a second and breathes. But if it does go back up and breaks 90, then we are out of that one. Good trading on Palantir. We talked about that. Intel, wow. Again, congrats to my guy Obi over there who absolutely nailed that. I know Neil had that as well. Obi put on some risk there, so congrats, because we talked about that yesterday with him on Intel. So gets that revenge today, so congrats there, Obi. And then again, just because we're on it, like I have to tell you, we've traded in the thousands of shares on Palantir today, and the thing is that we don't have too much left. We have about under 10% of this position left so far for Palantir. So let's give this a second, see if it wants to breathe. Again, a good stop area is around this 119 for this play. So let's give it a second and see if that's wants to work out or not. The only trade really that I'm of most concern with right now is SoundHound, because it just bounced off of VWAP. So that's the one that's concerning me the most. I mean, another fill there would be nice, which we have some bids. And then if it falls in, I'm also bidding down here. But this 50 period, I don't know. It just held VWAP. This is looking dangerous on the short, so I can't stamp this one now. It should have failed there. This was the move. It should have just kept going, and it didn't. So let's be patient with it now. I don't think we have much of a choice. So we'll wait on that one. Yeah, SoxL, SMH, Tesla was one.
Tesla's right here.
Tesla's the biggest L for me.
It's right here at that, almost at that 350. It just wicked 351. Want to see it break the trend.
There goes.
Just a couple of notes here. SMCI. Forget about breaking the trend. SMCI is just holding the trend. So here's the breakout. Zoom it in here. First actual pullback. You can see a nice little series of higher lows. I'm playing this trend till it breaks, and or we get to $50. So we're going to make sure we're going on the bid here on SMCI. Just want to play this one to the long side. NVIDIA's now starting to churn back into the 137. As long as we put in higher lows here, I think we want to be reloading this one off of VWAP or 136. I like 136. The current bottom is 135.5, so NVIDIA looking pretty solid as far as I'm concerned. The market's right at overnight highs on the NASDAQ, so we're looking really good overall. So if it's a strong stock, let it go or let it fly. The real issue is, do we actually get a play into 350, or is this now the spot on Tesla? I thought I just drew that trend line. This might be the spot here on Tesla for me. So it's 350 that we like, but 351 is pretty close for a stock like this. It's already moved $12, right? So you're splitting hairs if you're talking about a buck from the low.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I definitely like.
Already punched.
I mean, I like the Tesla play. I'm trying to find something new here. Amazon. We can go over if there's any names. I'm trying to find the chat, but like, I don't know what FLYX is.
Stoxel, people are yelling.
Yeah, we talked about Stoxel there a little bit. Yeah, Amazon not moving. I just want to say that was another piece there as the market really starting to go now. So you want to try to grab some of these longs.
Dude,
again, yeah, Apple's going up. I noticed, I mean, I love that Apple trade. All right, so we're going to get out some more SoundHound here. We just got out at 70s. We're short at 76. I don't really know where this is going to go. I just bid some more 60s. It looks like it wants to go higher, man. Every single time this thing drops, it is getting bought up. I'm really disappointed that we didn't break lower. So the stop is here at 90, breaking 90, and we are out. News with Adara Palantir still hovering around. Adara?
Not only is it news, it's actually news on a name that's already on watch for earnings, and that would be Coinbase, announcing here that it's apparently joining Aston Martin Aramco's F1 team as exclusive crypto partner. So Coinbase being the exclusive crypto partner here of Aston Martin's Aramco F1 team. So sounds like racing here, guys. Coinbase, crypto partner. Back to you.
Okay. SMR, yeah, thanks for that. I mean, looking at that Coinbase, we had talked about that earlier today, and that, maybe this 82 would have been wow, okay, so 82 was a good level. It's a good thing I didn't notice this, because we had talked about 82 in the pre-market there. I'd be like, oh man, we missed it, and it went all the way to 86, but then I would have tried it again, and then it would have lost. So right now, yeah, down 7%.
I don't think I've ever seen that big of a beat on expectations on EPS, and the stock is down that much.
Yeah, I don't think the numbers.
There's something weird about the EPS, in my opinion, on that one. So this is why you stayed. And we both were like, we're staying away from it because we don't get it. And if you don't get it, you don't have to trade it. There's plenty of other things. See what the market's doing right now? There's so many things you can go long that are absolutely fine. Apple's absolutely rocket ship. Palantir's a rocket ship. SMCI is a rocket ship. I haven't looked at Meta in a second. I'm going to go to Meta in 1 second. But Tesla did the reversion, or at least Tesla's attempting to do a reversion here. So it bounced. This is the trend line break. Got really fortunate because you couldn't get long on the break up because it went too fast. Got long at 53s. Prior bar low is 352.5. Gets to VWAP. I'm going to jump out of it. Meta, just to go over some names that we haven't talked about.
Should have stayed away.
In an absolute shocker that I'm sure everyone's surprised by this, Meta is green and breaking the highs. This would make 20 days in a row, as long as, it has to close up here, obviously, but Meta on a breakout. This stock is insane. I'm kind of curious as to what's going to make this put in a red day at this point. Apple up 1.3%, looking incredibly strong. Oddly enough, I know I'm long Tesla, but it's down 0.4%, and one of the few things that's weak. If NVIDIA sold you, or you are Tesla, you're not having a good day, or you're, we were just talking about who was down, who's to the downside. We were just talking about
SoundHound is down.
SoundHound's down. NW's down. That's
we haven't looked at. Let me see what Roku's doing.
I haven't looked at Roku at all, actually.
So I'm getting out. This is Palantir. Okay, we just got it. So it just came back up to 120. So I wanted to say we put an 80 fill there. So we will take that out at 80. Again, getting lighter. We have 10%, less than 10% left of Palantir. All right, Roku, yeah, other way around. Remember we talked about Roku, what it was doing earlier on today. Nice move there. Nice move upside. I said it was breaking. Remember, I was like, it's breaking 101. We just got to hope it doesn't happen early on. And it does happen right there at 9:31. So that was good. That was early enough. Nice break up there to 105. And then since then, fade. So now you can think about possibly getting short with a pullback into VWAP for Roku. So again, we sort of were talking about this name. Great report. It's up 300%, I think, since October or whatever that was. We can look again on the daily chart. But this level right here that I keep hovering around is $100.50 basically. That was the high there. That's where we got to right there. It had a decision spot there. That's what broke. That's where VWAP is, and that's the last couple highs. So short. So there you go, man. As we mentioned there again, you just want to know what we're thinking. If you're looking at Roku, or maybe if you're long, this is not a horrible spot now. If you're buying these dips, I mean, you could look at it both ways. You're back into this level as well. If you like the long, you have some wicks that you can play off of, right? Like, don't hold it through 96, but you could get this move right back into VWAP right now. It could be a better $2 up than it looks like down. So that is still a safe play, in my opinion, for Roku going long in around that 98, using 96 as a bottom. But here comes SoundHound. I would love for this one to halt, but I don't think that's going to happen. You're already down 23% right now, but we are short now at 75. Looks like it's okay. I'm bidding 58. No, I'm bidding 56s. I'm going to put a bid here at 59. Maybe we can grab that. See, okay, well, now we get it. There's so many in-between prints here that it's like 85 million shares, and we see what I mean? Did I get that? I did get that 59. Okay, thank God. There's so much liquidity here, and most of it is not even at this level. It's all half prints. So you got to watch out for that tape to make sure that you are reading it correctly. Yeah.
To that point, I'm going to go over. We just got out of Tesla in front of VWAP. Nice. On Serve, the amount of dark pool volume, the stock has done 30 million shares. Just looking at tape, the amount of dark pool volume relative to lit volume is ridiculous on Serve right now. And it's making a reversion too. Like, this is one I want to try to, all right, it's happening right now. It's breaking trend in front of VWAP. So if we close this underneath the trend line, I am going short into Serve one more time, but there's a lot of dark pool volume. We have keys here at Real Trading that we can swipe and get fills on some of the dark ones, which makes it advantageous for us. So shout out to Real Trading for that ability. Tesla got into VWAP and did this topping tail wick at 356 even. So it's downward trending, break the reversion, and then long into VWAP. It's no different from shorting a reversion into VWAP, longing a reversion into VWAP. I want to respect the trend here and just get out of Tesla because it's been a downward trending stock. But Serve is serving up an opportunity here at VWAP itself.
All right. All right, I wanted to look. Okay, so just really quickly there, Palantir, there's the fade back on Palantir, right? So we just talked about getting some out there. Again, I like that trade. Good one, fade out there on Palantir. Watch out now. This is what's really changing, though, for me. We just got 50s, or 52s on SoundHound. So nice trade there for sure to get that back. We were a little risky up there again, thinking about breaking that high, but again, trying to stay with sort of what we're doing here, right? So that was that one there on SoundHound. All right, so we'll watch it. Palantir, playback, there's VWAP. We don't want to hold it too much past that. So I'm not even sure I have a stop order in because we don't have too many shares left. So let's get that. Yeah, my stop on this trade is 116.70. So, so that was a 30 or 40 cents worth of a stop right now on this position to get about that $3. So that was pretty worth it there. Palantir right now, 118.85 or so is where that is. So let's put our stop there, 118. Let's just, if it breaks it breaks it, right? Let's just get out of that, 79s. Like normally we'll hold a little bit more and then we'll buy a little bit more down here at 119 where we just bounced off of. But after that, we are gone. So we'll have to wait to see what happens on Palantir. Worth a little bit of a reload here just to see if we can make something happen. But Palantir right now back down to 119. I like the trade. But it's SoundHound, Neil. Palantir will be my P&L number 1, but SoundHound will be PL2 for me. So far, so good. You just saw some, okay, now we have size chasing this down. Just got waxed. So we did see some size chasing it there. But all right, take some more out here on SoundHound. So far, so good. Adara at the desk.
Technically speaking, Adara at the screen here, but either way, we're going to take a look at this IWM, which has actually been in quite the nice little uptrend after getting hit pretty hard on Wednesday with that higher than expected CPI print. It actually took the higher than expected PPI we got yesterday pretty much in stride, still continuing to the upside, but taking a little bit of a dip here off the open, up slightly on the day. Lots of small cap movers today. We're going to start here with MindMed, MNMD. This one is most likely moving here after the confirmation of RFK Jr. as the leader of the Health and Human Services Department in the new Donald Trump administration. He is very much a proponent here of these psychedelic drugs. So MNMD, good look there. Alternative medicine, I guess, would be a better way of putting it. So good look for MindMed with a 38% short float. Then we have Nebius, NBIS, the latest name here to be purchased by NVIDIA, buying 1.2 million share stake of this company. Then we also have NTLA. I couldn't find a catalyst on NTLA, but about a 19% short float for this ticker, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, so about that, NVIDIA. Well, NVIDIA bounced off 136, then broke the trend, got me out at 137, and just made a fresh high of the day. Because NVIDIA is NVIDIA, and NVIDIA is fantastic. So we're going to continue to try to buy dips on NVIDIA here, but that is an absolute rocket ship. Tesla is quick, and this is sort of the thing, like, okay, so one, trend in, trend out, and it looks like a great exit. NVIDIA, trend in, trend out, and it looks like a terrible exit. So it is, they both work, but that's just how it is sometimes. You follow the rule, you look fantastic. You follow the rule, it looks mediocre. But at the end of the day, you've got to be able to stick to your rule. It's just a trend reversion play, so play it like it is. I'm just going to follow the rule set there. SMCI has still held on to trend. Kind of crazy wicks every time it comes back into the trend line. It's not doing what it did before, where it kind of hung out down there on the trend. So I want to see if we can pick this one up on a consolidation underneath 47, but holding 46.60. It's now got a double top up here at 47.30. So I'm going to give it one more chance to get in and see if we can work this one. Serve is still at VWAP. So we got our reversion entry in. It breaks that prior high. We're out. I think we have the right entry area for Serve Robotics. That and SoundHound, of course, both 2 weak stocks here today. So we'll see how they're going to go. Alibaba, this was a plan to go long. I pivoted to SMCI because one stock's trending up, and there just hasn't been a really good setup here on Alibaba. So if it fills in the entirety of the gap, great. I'll try the long down at 120 or 121, but there's just no setup here for Baba, and you're not forced to take a trade that doesn't set up for you. That's the thing. I can think I wanted a early bounce play on it or something like that, but it's not really giving me the setup. Thank you very much for the super chat here. I can't pronounce the name. Apologies. What's the take on Robinhood? We'll have a look at that in a quick second. We also got another super chat from Vizbot. Appreciate you as well. Perfect timing on Tesla. That's what she said. Well done. Thank you. I think it's one of those things where if your plan works, great, but it's more important that you stick to your plan at the end of the day. Because as I said, Tesla, it'll look back and look like it's perfect, but that same principle, it's just to give you an entry point and an exit point. Like on NVIDIA, it got me out looking for the same sort of thing, and NVIDIA is climbing higher. So you just take it with a grain of salt, understanding that you can't get too mad when this doesn't work if you're going to be happy that the other one does. So just sort of keep it in the pocket there. Robinhood, I'm going to make an assumption that Robinhood's doing fantastically because I can't figure out why it wouldn't be. There you go. I think with this, after earnings, double bottom, break out the top. If it breaks this consolidation now in a 2-day consolidation, it could do it today, tomorrow, next week is what I mean when I say that. But when you have an earnings name that holds a top end and then breaks it out, that's what you want to see for continuation. Wow, so nice mover here on Robinhood. I prefer SMCI today, so I'll probably stick with that though.
Palantir just up another $1 off 119. Look, you've got the right one when she sends me this. Are you Saquon Barkley? Because you've been running through my mind all day. Tucson from Marissa. So she just sent this to me right now. So I love you. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. We'll tweet that out. That's just hilarious. Like, I don't know. Like, she likes watching football with me, but
no Jacobs.
There it is right there. No which?
Jacobs.
No. That's Saquon, man. There's one Super Bowl. It's a different level of love, when they love you and they put you Saquon Barkley. All right, so right there, 120. Love you, Marissa. She's with our kids are very, very busy today. It's a PA day. All right, so
which sucks for the
Palantir, SoundHound. So SoundHound, we did cover a decent amount of that down here. Much more. Well, I still have a third left, so 2/3 on that one. So yeah, speak about it. We talked about DraftKings, a name that I was not. Look, we bought Intel recently. We bought NVIDIA recently. We bought the S&P 500. And we bought Uber. We did not buy DraftKings. but we've been talking all about DraftKings and how much we've loved it. So at least there's that. DraftKings, huge move to the upside. I mean, like I said, a lot of the trading we'll talk about here, theoretical. You could see the plays that we have on board right now. SoundHound actually coming in, so that's going to be a good trade. But there it is, man. There's that DraftKings breaking $48, $49. We talked about this on the recap show yesterday with Sharif. I really like this play breaking through 50, and for some reason, didn't sit there and trade that. On earnings, we like that break back into VWAP, back into the 50-period moving average. So to have more eyes would be great, but unfortunately, only a pair. So there goes DraftKings up through 53, up to 53. I don't know if it's going to break. It looks like it will. But that's the play, right? There's the break. There's the fade back into VWAP, and boom, goes. Money. Oh boy. This is this Palantir at 120 is something that I would have never really even dreamed of happening, to be honest with you. I know that's going to sound corny, but this is a monster move, and I was not even thinking about these levels, to be honest with you, and then it just came right in. So, yeah, man, I mean, to say I like this trade is something else, but there it goes, nice upside move. Palantir will be my number one P&L stock today, followed, of course, by Sound. Intel, no, that's for sure. Intel gave up the ghost. Real good, man. There, we actually turned red on Intel, despite it being one of our top stocks, up 5% right there today. But there it goes, right back down in. So congratulations there. I told you Obi had that, so congrats to Obi. Big trading for my guy over there. And then Palantir as well, right there, 120, 120.10 or so. We just got another piece out, so we'll watch out for that. But DraftKings has been huge. Let's see if Uber's having some Airbnb love as well. So now down 1%. We had thought there might be some pickup. I did anyway, so maybe some pickup there in Uber today, but there is not, based on that movement, of course, with Airbnb. So possible moves there happening. I'm just going to get some orders out for Palantir because it's trying to get a little bit higher right there. So yeah, SoundHound back to 50. I don't know, anything interesting you're looking at this moment?
To be honest,
yeah,
reversion on Intel.
Reversion, okay.
Because it just did $23, and it's got a very, very distinct trend. Obviously, it's got a distinct trend. Look, I thought it was going to bounce off the prior close. There's no question about it. I thought we were bouncing at 24.20 on Intel. So we get out. I get out anyways, but I'm now looking for the reversion trade on Intel. It's a similar setup, but distinctly different from Tesla. Like Tesla wasn't bleeding the way that Intel was, so this is clearly more of a falling knife, but it's the same principle that I'm just going to stick with. Where did my line go? It'll be really obvious. Like if it closes, it's 23 even. If it closes the bar above, you're going to have the prior close around that 23. So I want to get long, and if it breaks 23, jump out. Serve, we're still in. SMCI, by the way, just an update. I'm going to hit save to make sure that that's still there next time I go back for you guys. SMCI is still upward trending, but very gently. Now you've got a double top up here where it can't seem to break. I feel like if it loses this, we're going to VWAP. That's $1 lower, so I want to be out, tight, stop, wait for VWAP on SMCI. So that'll be the plan with that stock, but I feel like Intel just feels like it's going to be next. It's a little bit of a bottoming tail candle so far, and it's trying to close this bar above the $23 level. NVIDIA is 138 and still climbing. That's looking incredibly strong. Serve has barely moved since it got to VWAP.
It's now, boys.
Which ultimately I don't think is the greatest look, but I'm missing some data. Okay, so my VWAP, this VWAP's going to be off a little bit because I'm missing some data there. But either way, you can see it's now going sideways on Serve. I want this to drop back in. I'm bidding 1370, 81, and I think in the 60s as well on Serve.
All right, you have been served right now, SoundHound.
Yeah, Serve.
Yeah. You're on Serve there. We're on SoundHound right now, so let's just see what winds up happening. Yeah. Tough. Well, it's tough when it's the same idea, right?
It's the same concept and the same catalyst, and they both begin with an S. So it's kind of...
Yeah. All right, so this one was a good one, though. SoundHound so far for me today as we continue to break through that 1150. Tesla, let's have another look at Tesla. 350, ooh. I mean, again, weak name, faded off VWAP. We thought Tesla was going to be strong today, so that's for sure. That's going to be wrong. Yesterday was a monster day. We've really traded Tesla quite well, so I'm fine with not trading it too much today. We did get in quick outs there as we liked 358 to 356. So the difference with me today is this. Is that on Tesla, we stuck, and we talked about this yesterday with Obi again, and it's like, bless you, when you are uncertain about your levels, let it go. So we, on the sticky note there, we liked 358 to 356. When it broke, we got out, and I don't have to suffer anymore, right? On Intel, a little bit of a different story there, because Intel, we went long there. We tested it again at 2350. Then we let it go. That's fine. But then we retested it again at 24, just 3 or 4 times there. 1, 2, 3 buys. Just too many. Give it a go. If it fails, fine. But maybe only one time, not multi-times. So that was a problem right there. Palantir, though, ain't no problems with Palantir. As that goes to 120.50, we're still long 117. Let's see where that can work itself into. But it's SoundHound right now that is like a little bit of an undercover brother here, because this is making that move to the downside here for SoundHound. We are bidding at the 50-period moving average of 42. So if that comes in, great. And then we'll wait for a dip on that as well. So yeah, I really like this play here on SoundHound. Let's see how low it can go. We could get right back into that 1060 to 70 area. So one last out there. There it is. We get it there. Now we'll wait for a break lower into 1120 on SOUN. Actually, I better put some. I'm going to bid some. Because we still have about a third of this trade, I'm going to put some down at 30 to make sure we capture some kind of profit for sure.
That's what you got to do. And SoundHound, I don't know. I was going to say.
What were you going to say?
It's hounding lower.
Hounding sounds?
Because I would be like pounding down lower. I was like hounding down, but that doesn't really work, so I'll save you that one. SMCI broke trend, so I'm out. I'm not shorting this stock, but I am getting out when it breaks trend. And I want VWAP back, so we'll see if we can't grab this one off of VWAP if it gets there. 10.5% for SMCI. The stock is an absolute rocket ship. It still could eventually get to $50 today. But I think you're in a bit of a pullback in the market, so let's see if that can work. Serve is still doing the same thing it was before, like barely moving, but it just went 10 cents down. But this stock is down 39%, and at the open it dropped $2. But now all of a sudden, a drop is 10 cents on the thing. So just respect that for what it is. Oh shoot, Tesla's at 350. We're gonna go to Adara right now as Tesla is at $350.
We're going to talk here about Coinbase today because, unfortunately, and I do apologize, it was omitted from the watch list. So we're going to take a hard look at its earnings right now. And this earnings, it's a great day if you were Coinbase. If you were a Coinbase shareholder, maybe not so good of a day. It's basically at day's lows here, but basically did have a pretty massive gap earnings per share here, $4.68 versus estimates of $1.81. Q4 sales here, $2.27 billion versus $1.83 billion, also a nice beat. They had some guidance here as well for the subscription and services revenue. And let's get into these year-over-year changes. So 172% increase in revenue or transaction revenue, subscriptions and services revenue of 15%. They also had a 176% increase in consumer trading. And apparently this outpaced the overall U.S. spot market. So the other thing with Coinbase is they just announced as well today, they're going to be the exclusive crypto partner for Aston Martin's F1 team. So keep an eye here on COIN throughout the day. Here's Bitcoin's daily chart. Still struggling with that 98,000 and making lower highs from 98,000. Today, we have not even been able to reach that level. Current high here around 97.6. So let's see if we're able to break that streak of struggling with that 98,000 level, because it looks like today we might have another push lower. Now we have Bitcoin here basically flat in the day. Ethereum, though, actually nicely above 2,700, up about 2%. Great day for XRP, up 11%. Solana up 4%, Doge up 5%, Cardano up 2%. So a lot of these other crypto names stronger than Bitcoin itself. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. Yeah, that's the thing. We talked about some of those secondary plays with crypto. Mara's always going to be a good one as well. Just real quick, man. Palantir, we got long and we got some out at the 20s. This is a 20-cent worth trade. We talked about where this needs to break, and we're getting pretty close to breaking right now. So be careful with it. I don't think there's anything too much to worry about. We have our stop order in. Our stop order on Palantir is, I just saw that it just failed down there. So, all right, let's put it in together. It was a little bit of a break below here. So 118, so in ours, it didn't fail. We didn't get triggered there, but 118.79, so break. So you can't have two stop orders out the same way on one stock. So you have to put out bracket orders and things like that. So I failed to do that, and now I fixed it. So the stop order, it didn't break. We're still waiting for 118.79. We don't want to necessarily, we talked about not getting stopped out directly at VWAP. That's 118.90. 2 or 3 here. So see, like there's another out right there at 25s. So we're long now at Palantir, and we've just been getting longer at VWAP. If it goes back up to the upside, I would consider that like not lucky, but you know, I'm not really expecting it. So we'll see if we can hold it to that. Take some out, make this a profitable reload. See, there it is. So there's some more outs in the 30s. Now we can hold out. I don't have any more offers. I'm thinking about right into here 75, and then we'll see about 120. Let's see if it can go. All right, Neil, time to shine.
The first month is free.
What?
That's what you need to know with eSignal, because everything else about it is fantastic. You've heard us talk about this as the best way possibly for traders to trade smarter and not harder by utilizing every possible tool at your disposal. We're talking about indicators. We're talking about back testing. We're talking about forward testing. There's the API. I don't code, but I'm telling you, if you want to code some automatic, well, I'm just being honest, Sharif. I don't code, but if you have rudimentary coding skills like ChatGPT, you can connect and automate your strategies, because you can have the indicators find them for you. You can execute on your platform because you can hook it up to almost every broker out there, or larger broker out there, so that you can execute your trades. You have tick replay available for you. You've got reliable data that is there. If the market is open, then your data is going to be there for you when you need it. You've got every scanner that you could imagine. We use them almost every single day here, especially in the afternoon when things slow down. What's still moving? What's a good opportunity? Well, put up a scanner to see what's trading faster, what's breaking highs, what's pulling back into VWAP. That's what you get with eSignal. It's all in one platform. And as I said, the first month is free. Scan the QR code in front of you, check out eSignal today, and then you can be watching stocks like Archer and BBAI and Cliff or whatever happens to be popping up here. And if you want, you can have like level, I don't know why I have this stock, BlackBerry. I don't know why BlackBerry's up, but you can look at the bid ask of BlackBerry.
Yeah,
too.
why not?
I'm not entirely sure why I just had BlackBerry up, to be honest, but it's probably a leftover from the other day when BlackBerry was doing something, I guess, because BlackBerry was moving the other day. Serve, just a quick update. Serve, I got that fill in the 70s. Intel, we tried a reversion play on Intel. It did a small bounce. Like that was about 11s to 22s, and then it broke the prior bar low. So that was one of my favorite Star Wars lines is, well, this could be the shortest offensive of all time. Well, that was the shortest reversion you could imagine. It went 10 cents at best and right back into lows. Intel is leading today, but it's one of those, it was up so strong off of the low, and it's just essentially filled in yesterday's move. If you're real patient, at least I think I want to be really patient, if we don't make this bottom hold here, then I would wait for 2250, which is the next obvious level in there for Intel if 23 doesn't hold. So you got to have a little bit of patience in this market, and if you're really, really patient, then maybe NVIDIA comes back to us. I trail out of NVIDIA too early. Let's look for VWAP again. NVIDIA's up 1.7%. It's strong. Market's flat, so we know it's relatively strong. Let's look for this one to give us an opportunity off of VWAP for the long trade.
So Palantir came back in. Didn't make or lose anything on this, unfortunately. Gets to the upside, comes back in, breaks. We take our out. Now it wants to go back up. But this is where we have told you, if you want to get back in, fine. But at the same time right now, I'm not really thinking that that's, the greatest of trades to start fighting this, even though I do think it still is upside. So we're not going to participate in that, because that's what happened to Intel. We got carried away, we started buying it, but we were able to make it back there on that dip. This is not significant enough. If it was the 200 period, then I think maybe we would try to deal with that. So whatever, it's still going to be my P&L number one, Palantir. We did wish we would have made a little bit more on that. Just didn't go. We made as much as we could. I mean, it went to the 50 period. Besides getting out of everything, that was the play. And I just wonder, the market's if you opened your eyes at 8:30, 9:30, and then reopened them now, you would have thought the market didn't even trade.
True that.
You're right at where we opened. So I don't, be patient, try to wait for these trades to come through. But for right now, it's just not really moving. So, all right, that's what we're dealing with now here with this market. There's Palantir again. I still think it has higher to go. We'll watch out for SoundHound. That's moving around. Intel, again, I know you retried the long on this, right?
It was the shortest offensive of all.
No, that's what it was, right. I was going to say because, this just broke 23, so everyone had that idea of shorting 25 there, and oh boy, was that the right one. Now down 5%. I didn't get a chance to get any out, which is fine. Maybe that's fine. Hopefully we'll open up a little bit higher now, but there's lesson learned, right? When we talked about getting out of Intel at some of those highs at $25.